It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.
What's going on, Diamond Gang? Happy Easter to everybody. Happy Easter. I hope your holiday was nice. I was supposed to go live yesterday. I had some issues, so we live today, and I'm happy I waited to go live. Trump is cutting up, and I mean, he's cutting up in the worst way. They are trying to evoke the 25th Amendment, which means now the 25th Amendment, Section 1 is presidential succession, Section 2 is filling a vice president vacancy, and Section 3, voluntary transfer of power. Section 4, what they're trying to do to Trump is Section 4, involuntary transfer of power. If the president is unable to perform their duties and won't or can't declare it, the vice president plus a majority of the cabinet can declare the president unable. So right now they're trying to do that. He's been threatening Iran all day. All day. After they rescued the pilot, I knew he was going to get cocky. So, yeah. But I want to say shouts out to my subscribers. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. All opinions are respected here. You just can't be disrespectful. That's it. You can say whatever you want to say, even if it's opposing to what I'm saying. You just can't curse in my chat or just be downright nasty and rude. I want to say shouts out to my mods, and we're going to get straight into it. Y'all know how I do it. I like to start from the day before, okay? And it'll lead up till today. He is bad. He's getting bad to the point where, yeah, it's getting real bad. All right, so let's get into it, Diamond Gang. Let's go.
This is the Week in Trump. No jokes or commentary, just a dry, matter-of-fact list of the Trump administration shenanigans this week that we would otherwise forget next week for the week ending April 4th, 2000.
Can you, wait a minute, let me ask you a question. Is this silent? Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it? For some reason, I can't hear it. Hold on. Let me make my screen bigger. Uh-oh.
2026. Trump threatened to invade.
Wait a minute, Diamond Gang. Wait a minute. You can hear it? Okay, so for some reason, I can't hear it. So I'm going to have to silently listen to it. Okay. Why is it not coming in for me? Okay, let's go. Oh, I know why. Hold on, gang. And let me make sure I got it turned up here. This is why.
Parliamentary speaker who denied it. He said, "We're obliterating the shit out of them right now." A judge halted construction.
This guy right here reviews what Trump does in a week. Okay, so he does a week in review. So let's get it, Diamond Gang. Let's go.
This is the Week in Trump. No jokes or commentary, just a dry, matter-of-fact list of the Trump administration shenanigans this week that we would otherwise forget next week for the week ending April 4th, 2026. Trump threatened to invade Karg Island. He said, "We were negotiating with Iran's parliamentary speaker who denied it." He said, "We're obliterating the shit out of them right now." A judge halted construction of his ballroom. His Secretary of War refused to investigate why U.S. helicopters hovered around Kid Rock's house. The Pope said God doesn't listen to the prayers of those who wage war. Trump signed an executive order in an attempt to dismantle mail-in voting. He called a female reporter fresh, said his presidential library will instead be a hotel. He openly considered leaving NATO. He said Iran wanted a ceasefire, which they denied. J.D. Vance's new book about
Diamond Gang right now, he did another 48. Now Tuesday, He's supposed to bomb everything in Iran. Let's go.
Catholicism accidentally featured a Methodist church on the cover. A judge found his federal defunding of NPR and PBS unconstitutional. He said the United States can't pay for Medicaid, Medicare, or daycare because we're fighting wars. He said we will bomb Iran back to the stone.
And he definitely said it. I have it. And they actually did edit that part out, but it was too late. Too many people got a hold of what he said about daycare and childcare. Let's go.
Ages. He called Bruce Springsteen overrated, untalented, obnoxious, and a dried out prune of a rocker who should keep his mouth shut. He left Supreme Court arguments after an hour to blast birthright citizenship on social media. He fired his attorney general. Pete Hegseth fired the Army chief of staff. 2 U.S. planes were shot down in Iran after weeks ago Hegseth said we have complete control of Iranian skies. And this week, Trump said that they have no anti-aircraft equipment and we are an
Diamond Gang, they lied to us multiple times. And I'm going to show you tonight. We got a lot of information to go over.
Unstoppable military force. He asked for $1.5 trillion in defense spending that experts call the biggest budget hike since World War II. His DOJ now says Trump can hold on to government documents once he leaves office. And over the course of this week alone, Trump said of the Strait of Hormuz that if it isn't open, we will obliterate their infrastructure, that countries should build up delayed courage to just take it. He told allies, go get your own oil.
He literally, if you think this, like he's been crashing out all week, no, what he did today tops what he did in the previous weeks. He's crashing out. They are trying to invoke the I think it's the 25th Amendment. Yeah, the 25th Amendment. Let's get it. They're trying to get him down.
He said the strait would open up naturally, that we don't have anything to do with what will happen to it. We don't need it. We won't take oil from it in the future, that we could easily open it, take the oil and make a fortune, and then reiterated a deadline to open the strait before we'd rain hell down on them. Let me know what I missed in
that part. So he went from earlier this week to telling our allies to get your own oil. We won't be there till today. Now they have until Tuesday. Okay. So he's literally threatening to commit war crimes. This is what he's doing right now.
Comments, and remember the archive for previous episodes is available.
Every American needs to watch this clip.
Our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran.
Pay attention, because they all said this. They have said this plenty of times. And where are we today?
They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
A war with Iran would make the war in Iraq look like a cakewalk.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
I've been a recovering neocon for 6 years now. Like the foolishness with which we ricocheted around the world,
Diamond Gang, this is coming out of their own mouths.
think it was in our best interest when really we just overturned the table and created something worse.
You're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars, not start them.
I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. We don't need.
Listen, Diamond Gang, I'm not asking for a Cash App, Super Chat, Super Sticker. Can you please and thank you hit the like for me? That's all I'm asking for is a like. It's free.
The wars, foreign lands, countries you've never heard of, countries that don't even want us there.
President Trump, as he says all the time, and as a lot of people recognize, is a president of peace. We want to have good relations.
What happened to this? What happened to this?
Relationships with everybody.
I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
President Trump is the peace president.
We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid.
You hear that? Do you hear that?
Stupid. How stupid is it?
We've got to stop Donald Trump from starting a war with Iran.
We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
I certainly empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. I understand the concern, but the difference is that
Diamond Gang, Iran is not backing down. They are literally mocking and laughing at Trump's threats.
back then, we had dumb presidents, and now we have a president who actually knows how to accomplish America's national security objectives.
We have some major news right now. Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth lied to the American public. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, claimed that the United States had complete air superiority over large parts of Iran, that they could do whatever, whenever, however they want. Donald Trump said that Iran's military was completely decimated. Air Force, Navy, decimated. Well, tonight, Americans and Iranians are searching for an American service member who had to eject from.
Now, Diamond Gang, you know I like to take you guys through the entire day. So this was prior to. I know he's been found. We will go over that as well.
An F-15 fighter jet over southern Iran because Iran has not been decimated. And Americans don't have the air superiority that Hegseth claimed during his press conference at the Pentagon. And now we have an American troop being hunted down by Iranians and being searched for by Americans in an effort to.
And I knew once we brought that man home, I knew Trump was going to get cocky. And that's what's going on right now.
Try to get them first. These lies coming from the leaders of the American government are dangerous. And it's important that we talk about them and not just let it get brushed under the rug. I'll have more soon. Follow for more.
He's a lover of Vladimir Putin. He's like a knave of Vladimir Putin. So the real question is, I think Putin's got something on him. You think Netanyahu's got something on him, but I mean, the way he talks about Vladimir Putin, it just makes me laugh. I mean, it's obviously, you know,
I'm going to show you guys how he's made money and how his sons are making money off of this war. You're going to see it tonight.
Windows open and you hear clippity clop outside, it's a horse, it's not a zebra. We shouldn't overthink it. I mean, he's obviously got something on him.
You don't see that as his understanding of mutually assured destruction.
And guess who's pumping him up? Israel. Bibi is pumping him up.
The fact that Russia has more nuclear weapons than any other country.
I don't see it as that at all. I think. Listen. You know, he's not pulling out of NATO. I know we got to end the show, but he's not.
He said in that case that the Obama administration had paid.
I want y'all to pay attention because I want y'all to see how he's a walking contradiction. And he says whatever he wants out of his mouth.
Iran $1.7 billion. Actually, that agreement only unfroze $1.7 billion of Iran's own money. It wasn't.
Let me take it back a little bit because he tried to say that Obama put money in Iran's pockets, but it was more like he did. All right, let's go.
Makes me laugh. I mean, it's obviously, you know, if the window's open and you hear clippity clop outside, it's a horse, it's not a zebra. We shouldn't overthink it. I mean, he's obviously got something on him.
You don't see that as his understanding of mutually assured destruction and the fact that Russia has more nuclear weapons than any other country.
I don't see it as that at all. I think. Listen. You know, he's not pulling out of NATO. I know we got to end the show, but he's not.
He said in that case that the Obama administration had paid Iran $1.7 billion. Actually, that agreement only unfroze $1.7 billion of Iran's own money.
It only unfroze Iran's own money. Okay, the Obama administration. Pay attention, Diamond Gang. Please hit the like. Please hit the like.
Like we were paying them out of our treasury. But nevertheless, in claiming that was the biggest payoff to Iran in history, actually, no, Donald Trump just did that by effectively doing away with the sanctions on Iranian oil that was at sea. That was a $14 billion gift to the Iranian regime. So that title, that honor, that dubious honor.
Did you hear that? And the Straits is still not open. There's no negotiating going on. So let's go.
Belongs to Donald Trump himself.
How many generals and admirals have you fired?
I don't know the exact number, but
You don't know the number. It's 8.
Pay attention. Okay. Pete did this in the middle of a war, did a purge.
Can you explain why any of them were fired? Like, just explain why was the Army JAG fired? Why did you fire him?
they all serve at the pleasure of the president. And I think
No, I'm just asking you why.
General Kane is a great example.
I'm just asking you why.
That we
And
need
you probably learned at Princeton what why means. Why did you fire him?
They serve at the pleasure of the president, and we
Why
want better
did you
representation
fire
in
him?
each and every of those.
You can't
each and
explain
every
why
one
you
of those
fired any of
places.
them?
This is sad. He can't even explain why. We're going to get into the reason why, Diamond Gang. Hit the like.
Gentleman's time's expired.
When we saw him Wednesday night, I mean, he was sleepy. He was tired. He looked senile, and he sounded just totally detached from reality. This is not someone you want to have commanding your military. This is not someone that anyone whose life is at risk wants to trust as their commander in chief. When he said, hey, no problem flying over Iran right now because we've taken out all of their anti-aircraft fire. How did it feel to those F-15 pilots when they were?
You said, who cares who he fired? It was unjust. Did you know that he was kicked out of the military himself? Do you know the guys that he let go, the experience, the things that they did for this country? You couldn't possibly know.
Ejecting after the president made that declaration.
Today, Pete Hegseth fired 3 more senior military commanders from the Department of Defense.
Pay attention. You don't do a purge in the middle of a damn war. Pay attention.
Bringing the total to about 20 over the last year. First of all, who these folks are, they are some of our most experienced, dedicated military commanders with hundreds of years of experience between them. Some of them have 10 plus combat deployments.
10 plus combat deployments. And this man who terminated them was booted out the military. Incompetent.
Over the last 20 years, and removing these people without cause, without notice, without any replacement in many cases, is putting our service members at great risk. We are a nation at war right now. There are tremendous.
Putting our service members at risk. Diamond Gang, I got over 300 people in the building. I'm asking just for a like. Can you please hit the like? Please and thank you. I don't care about a super chat, super sticker, or a cash app. Just a like. Thank you.
Risks facing America, our homeland, our service members around the world, and he is simply purging senior military ranks because he thinks that these folks are not loyal to him personally or to Donald Trump. Secondly, we are putting our nation at great risk by sending the message to our military.
At a great risk, Iran was mocking us. They said you wanted regime change for us. And look who's doing the regime changing. It's the U.S. We look like fools right now. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Military, that it doesn't matter what you do, how hard you work, how dedicated you are, that if you're not loyal to Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, none of that matters. You know, that is a terrible message to send. It is making us less safe. And frankly, it is just a terrible way to treat people who have dedicated their lives in service to our nation, these servant leaders. They deserve better. America deserves better. And
that part, all we're getting from this administration are lies. We do deserve better, and they deserve better. All the things that they went through and fought for as far as this country goes, they deserve respect.
Service members deserve better.
The big story of the day was that Donald Trump fired the top general in the United States Army in the middle of Donald Trump's war in Iran that is going so badly that last night.
And again, some of them are not even replaced yet. So if anything, he plans on going crazy on Tuesday, blowing stuff up, crazy. And here, Those that were fired are not even replaced yet. I could see something tragic happening.
Donald Trump officially announced that he is surrendering control of the Strait of Hormuz to Iran. The top general of the United States Army served every day of World War II under two presidents when firing the top general would have been seen as chaos.
Again, Diamond Gang, it's a different story. And we're going to lead up all the way up. This was yesterday, and we're going to lead up till today by the end of this live.
In the war effort, presidents who are winning and confidently winning wars do not fire the top general. But today, Donald Trump's utterly incompetent Secretary of Defense demanded the resignation.
Utterly incompetent Secretary of Defense. Again, let's go.
Of General Randy George from the position of Army Chief of Staff. And he has asked General George to then immediately retire from the United States Army. That was going to be the top story of the day until Donald Trump decided to fire his second choice for Attorney General Pamela Bondi. And we must always remember she was the second choice. There is a long-running and rarely violated gentleman's agreement in Hollywood, which also has become a gentlewoman's agreement for movie stars to never.
What's up, Marie? Shouts out to Marie, Diamond Gang. Go subscribe to her channel. If you are not into long form content and you love shorts and quick uploads, she got you. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Publicly talk about the roles they turned down so that other movie stars would never have to suffer the public embarrassment and humiliation of being second choice. No one in Trump world finds that embarrassing. Donald Trump's current wife,
they so far up is behind. They don't care if they was the 6th, 7th choice, just to be around it.
Example, finds no shame in being third choice. And Pamela Bondi was honored to be Donald Trump's second choice for Attorney General in his second term after enough Republican United States senators let Donald Trump know that his first choice, Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, whose only experience with the Justice Department was as the subject of an investigation of possible sex trafficking, could not be confirmed even by a Republican Senate. Who could possibly hold their head high as Donald Trump?
Most of his team does not have the knowledge nor the experience to be in the positions that they are in right now.
Trump's second choice to Florida's strangest congressman ever, Matt Gaetz. Answer, Florida's own Pamela Bondi.
Before I play you this next very instructive clip, I want to note that
now, if there's any mothers, I want y'all to listen up with young children. Listen to what Trump said, and he thought that it was going to be deleted in enough time.
the only reason we have it is because the White House seemingly accidentally posted a live stream of it, which they then tried to delete, but not before the internet saved it for posterity. And just for context, Donald Trump starts by referring to the head of the Office of Management and Budget, the Christian nationalist author of Project 2025, Russell Vogt.
We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of
a war of choice. Might I add, a war of choice.
Daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. We have to take care of one thing.
Like we're not paying enough in taxes, Diamond Gang. I need y'all to hit the like. I got over 350 people in the room. I should have at least 200 likes. Please hit the like.
Military protection. We have to guard the country.
Even if the president pardons him for these things, The Hague will eventually come to get him.
We're hearing the Secretary of Defense saying...
Remember, when we started this war, they said they didn't give a good goddamn about the laws, the rules, nothing. They're going to do whatever they want to do. And right now, they're committing war crimes.
Effectively, the rules of war don't apply to the way he's conducting this war. I'm just curious to get your thoughts on how you view what now is the perilous situation our service member finds himself in and the rhetoric coming out of our own administration.
All of our military personnel are in greater risk than they have ever been before in terms of any other previous administration.
This right here, he's putting everybody at risk.
We have a Secretary of Defense who has actually stated words in his speeches and in writing that are literally the words of potential war criminals. Even if the president pardons him for these things, The Hague will eventually come to get him. It's very disheartening whenever the Secretary of Defense, who we're supposed to look up to for guidance and counsel and strategy, is saying things about show no quarter, which by its quote is prohibited and defined in U.S. law as a war crime. The idea of attacking infrastructure that affects civilians is a war crime. So it goes on, and our military members start to question, what are we doing here if we're attacking, for example, a bridge under construction? It just doesn't make any sense in terms of what are the military objectives.
Remember, what was that, Friday he was bragging about that? Yeah, Friday he was just bragging about this.
Which seem to keep changing on a regular basis. And if you don't have military objectives, and then you know when success has been achieved, that means all.
And we went in with no objectives and no strategies. None. You can tell. They were so shocked that they closed the Strait of Hormuz. They had no plan B but to threaten. And he's been threatening them now for over a week.
You're going to do is get further and further involved in this warfare, and it's going to go worse and worse for the United States and for the American public in terms of the oil prices, just as an example.
And at the end of the day, the objectives that they read off, regime change, to make sure that they're not able to build nukes, to get the uranium, none of those objectives have been met. None of them. None.
General, I wanted to give you the final thought about the adherence to international law, because as we were talking about, the Iranian state TV is offering those bounties on Americans if any Iranian residents find that service member, to hand them over to Iranian security forces. And we juxtapose that with what we are hearing from our Secretary of Defense and our president, who is threatening to bomb power plants. We've already seen him bomb a bridge. We're hearing the Secretary of Defense saying effectively the rules of war don't apply.
Diamond Gang, whoever is just now coming in the door, as stated at the beginning of this live stream, they are going to try to invoke the 25th Amendment on Trump. Section 4, which is involuntary transfer of power, which means if the president is unable to perform their duty and won't or can't declare it, the vice president, a majority of the cabinet, can declare the president unable, making the VP the acting president. So we're going to see. We're going to see who's for Trump and who's not.
To the way he's conducting this war. I'm just curious to get your thoughts on how you view what now is the perilous situation our service member finds himself in and the rhetoric coming out of our own administration.
All of our military personnel are in greater risk than they have ever been before in terms of any other previous administration. We have a Secretary of Defense who has actually stated words in his speeches and in writing that are literally the words of potential war criminals. Even if the president pardons him for these things,
the things that he was saying today, if it would have been anybody else, if it would have been Bush, if it would have been Obama, if it would have been Sleepy Joe, whoever, this would have been crazy. I mean, they would have been talking crazy. Like the whole world would have been upset. But because it's Trump, it's okay. It's not okay. Not when he's playing with people's lives.
Hague will eventually come to get him. It's very disheartening whenever the Secretary of Defense, who we're supposed to look up to for guidance and counsel and strategy, is saying things about show no quarter, which by its quote is prohibited and defined in U.S. law as a war crime. The idea of attacking infrastructure that affects civilians is a war crime. So it goes on, and our military members start to question, what are we doing here if we're attacking, for example, a bridge under construction? It just doesn't make any sense in terms of—
Thank you for hitting the like. I see you. Thank you. It takes time for me to put these clips together and tell a story. So I appreciate everybody to hit the like. I'm not on here begging for no Cash App. I'm not on here begging for super chats or super stickers. If you would like to support the channel, I would appreciate it. But I love likes. Thank you.
what are the military objectives, which seem to keep changing on a regular basis. And if you don't have military objectives, and then you know when success has been achieved, that means all you're going to do is get further and further involved in this warfare, and it's going to go worse and worse for the United States and for the American public in terms of the oil prices, just as an example.
I can, though. Can I shift a little bit and comment more?
Now, you know, it was the oil prices. Now I'm concerned for the different military branches that's over there right now. Because if he starts this, it's definitely going to be boots on the ground. And they said that they are waiting for us. They're waiting. They're not backing down.
On the retirement of General George, and
go ahead.
I'd like to do that because General George, as the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, is well loved by soldiers across the board. He's created a culture that's very good within the U.S. Army, but he's not the only one that was reported in that statement by the New York Times yesterday. It's not only General Randy George, Chief of Staff of the Air Force, it's also General Dave Hodney, a four-star general, one of the few that are in the Army, who's in charge.
Let me tell you something, guys. Trump was missing all day. And at that time, we didn't know it, but they were planning the rescue, okay, of that man. He was quiet. Everybody, there was rumors that he was in the hospital. I've never seen people cheering and so excited, thinking that he was on his way to glory. Like that's crazy. Okay. To be that hated, that people is cheering your death on. That's sad. Let's go.
Of Army Futures Command. And here's one that hit personally for me, which I don't know how to connect the dots on this, but the third officer mentioned was Major General Bill Green. Bill Green is the chief of chaplains in the Army. And what that means is he oversees all the moral capabilities of the chaplains in the force. And I know Bill Green. He was one of my chaplains when I was a brigade commander, and he is one of the finest officers.
And Pete Hegseth couldn't answer why he terminated these people
and ministers in the Army, and that's why he was chosen as the chief of chaplains. When you have those three individuals, it tells me more of what's going on. There's all kinds of conclusions on why George was fired, but when you talk about all three of them together, it's much more damaging, and there's a whole lot more to this story. They were standing up for something. I don't know what the issue was, but when you hear Secretary—
Oh, Diamond Gang, it will come out. It will come out. If they were standing up for something behind the scenes, it will come out.
Hegseth say that soldiers are fighting for Jesus, which is what he said in a speech the other day. That just chills me.
He needs to stop with that. He really does.
To the bone, especially when you have soldiers and all military personnel who are of other faiths, and it's on Passover weekend. It just doesn't make sense to me, and it's just despicable.
There's a tremendous propaganda machine going on in this administration to try to convince the American people that having no rules in warfare is the right thing. It is absolutely
and it's not. It is not, because it puts those guys that's out there, women that's out there, at a greater risk.
The wrong thing. It does not reflect the American values about respecting other people and independent of their nationality, their religion, their color.
That part is even more important.
We follow the rule of law, but this administration is not doing that and is basically saying there are no rules. That is wrong. I want every listener to understand that. And by the way, one other important thing that I've done on other shows with you is what can the average listener do? Well, I'll tell you what, you need to call your senator or your representative and to, quite frankly,
That part, if you're not registered to vote too, please get registered to vote. Please vote, go out and vote. You can make the difference. Start at the lower level. That's where the change comes in.
express your concern about the situation, to be very specific about extracting Americans, civilians from the Middle East. And that number, by the way, to call the Senate, and all you do, it's automated. You just put in your state, and then you get down to your senator. And
I'm telling y'all right now, before I went live, there are tons of people calling about Trump right now. They are really trying to get him down.
or your representatives. And I would like to give it to you. It's 202-224-3121. Again, 202-224-3121. And that way you can actually do a recorded message to your senator or your representative, or both senators and your representative. And I encourage people to speak out about what they feel and to, quite frankly, take care of our American military and their families, and to help with to hold the administration accountable under the law, and to assist. And I don't mean to be self.
Trump has a bunch of yes men around him. He said he likes hanging around losers so that they can sit around and hear his success stories. He called them losers.
Serving here, but to assist in the extraction of the American civilians that are here against their will.
Pete Hegseth has been on a firing spree. The latest was Army Chief Randy George. He's also gotten rid of 12 minorities who showed exemplary.
That part, 12 minorities. It's 2026. There is no room for that.
Service.
How much do you think insecurity is the driving factor behind so many people in the conservative movement? Like when you're interacting with people who come on the show or who are in the orbit, are they as insecure as they just like publicly seem? Because Pete Hegseth is the most insecure person in this administration.
Very much so. He's very insecure because he knows. He knows he has no business in the position that he is in. He's not competent enough. He's not capable. He doesn't have the knowledge.
Right.
The way that culture is,
nor the experience.
Run, and the idea that Donald Trump loves the one that he's with, right? Like, even remember that Matt Gaetz was his pick for attorney general because Susie Wiles went to the bathroom on Air Force One, and Matt Gaetz was able to slide in and be like, I'd be a really good choice. And it was a 5-alarm fire, right, to push our way out of that. So when you know that everyone is gabbing in Trump's ear and you can't really tell who he's going to be believing or how he's going to feel on a certain day, I think it would make anyone insanely insecure, don't you?
We've had about 4 weeks of the administration telling us everything's fine, everything's going according to plan, and now everyone can see with their eyes that that's obviously not the case. So now we're back to square one. How do we get out of it?
We've been back to square one multiple times.
And the president is facing...
He has no strategy to exit this war.
A choice. He can either de-escalate or he can double down. He can either admit that the original theory of the case, which was that you could bomb Iran into submission, and
he's about to box himself into, he's going to have to actually go all the way.
They're just going to fold and give Trump everything he wants is not true. Or he can say, oh, screw us, screw you, and send in ground troops and escalate this thing even further. Neither of those are good options. But the status quo, which is that Trump claimed on national television just a day ago that everything's going great, this is going to wrap up very soon, is obviously not true. It can no longer be sustained as a credible expression of U.S. policy.
Again, how are you coming on and telling the people that the negotiations are going well while threatening Iran at the same time? Those two things don't go together at all.
Your strategy in any way.
You don't say you're going to bomb 90 million people into the Stone Age when you're the leader of the free world.
We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
Inappropriate comment, but he's trying to tell people that he has to soften this up for ground troops. So I have it at 55, 60%. He's going to put ground troops in there, and then we'll have to see.
And he's not going to have a choice in a minute. Iran is not paying him no attention at all. They're laughing at him. And I'll show you guys later on in this video
what happens once the ground troops are in there in terms of where the Strait of Hormuz is or where the oil is going to flow. One of the big issues is obviously 40 to 50% of that oil flows to China. He's going to slow down their economy as well if those ground troops go in.
And China is they're telling their people right now, they have a reserve, but they're telling those people, like, listen, choose wisely, think wisely, and cut back.
Trump is losing control. I believe everybody knows it. What we are seeing right now is Trump gradually losing control of his own party and his own movement. The clearest signal right now about the sunsetting, or maybe it's sundowning of Trump, the sunsetting of Trump isn't coming from Democrats or liberals or anarchists or communists or socialists or LGBTQ. It's coming from the MAGA base.
Listen, I feel like he was losing control when he did the first 48 hours over a week ago. He was losing control then.
CPAC wasn't that long ago. And CPAC attendees admitted the Republican base is crumbling. And here is a CPAC attendee who said he believes that the MAGA movement and Republicans are going to get crushed.
Get ready. If you MAGA, it's over.
In November.
I think they're going to get destroyed in the midterms. I get the vibe. A lot of people I knew who just voted for Trump because they thought it was cool in like high school are just now just being like, I can't stand the guy.
That is a CPAC attendee. That's not a no.
It's over. MAGA is done.
No Kings protester. It's not someone at a Kamala rally. You get the point. This is Trump's political home turf, or at least it's supposed to be. Although, as we covered at the time, CPAC was pretty divided about Iran, certainly. And what they are now saying out loud is that a lot of people who voted for Trump because they thought it was cool, funny.
They have buyer's remorse. A lot of people wish they never voted for him.
To think that now are starting to turn on it. And it's not a single scandal, although the Iran fiasco is a part of it for a lot of these voters. It's not a single glitch or a single nap in public. It's because the entire thing has kind of...
That part, you said the straits were open before the cowardly sneak attack, and it definitely was a sneak attack. It was. MAGA's done, Scott. You'll see.
Lost its...
Come November, I'm going to go live about it too. They're done.
And it feels extraordinarily unstable, which of course it is. Prices will go down, but they're up. We're not going to do new wars, but he does. And so when you hear that...
He told too many lies, way too many lies. They're done.
From inside the base, it usually means one thing. There is a shift that has already taken place. We're hearing about it on a delay. And so the point I'm trying to make is when we start hearing from people, this is a mess. A lot of us can't stand the guy anymore. We're going to get crushed. That realization happened a long time prior, and it takes...
Boom. There's already a shift on the way. Listen to what he said.
It takes a while for them to start being willing to say it publicly.
Iran has not been attacked because it has nuclear weapons. It's been attacked because it does not have nuclear weapons. And therefore, it has been viewed by the Israel-U.S. axis as a target that could be defeated. They're rethinking that now as we speak. And it was attacked because it is the last major domino standing against the hegemony of the Israeli regime and the U.S.
Bingo, BB. We pledge the allegiance to Israel. Oh, BB.
U.S. in Western Asia. You know, Iran has not initiated a war with another country literally in centuries. And you've got the U.S. and the Israeli regime.
Centuries, Diamond Gang. They were in the 6th round of negotiations, and I say it every live stream, when Israel and the U.S. decided to bomb them. It came from out of nowhere. The negotiations were going very well.
That are responsible for most of the military aggression in today's world, objectively. speaking, with attacks on countries, not just in Western Asia, but all around the world, from the Caribbean to Western Asia. There's no other country that even comes close.
The unavoidable conclusion that must be drawn from the speech delivered on Wednesday night by Donald Trump is that the American president is a political criminal.
Bingo. Pay attention, Diamond Gang. Hit the like. Let's get it.
The names of Trump, Vance, Hegseth, Rubio, and Miller will live in perpetual infamy alongside those of the Nazi ringleaders of the Third Reich, Hitler, Goering, Himmler, von Ribbentrop, and Goebbels. The judgment of history will be merciless. But that judgment will be delivered not only against individuals, but also, and more profoundly, against the social class that raised them to power and in whose interests they have committed their monstrous crimes against the people of Iran.
Y'all listening? Pay attention, Diamond Gang.
Trump is not the first president to commit crimes. His predecessors have ordered the invasions of countries, the overthrow of government.
Y'all remember this? I was in the military during Desert Storm.
And the torture and assassination of individuals identified as opponents of American interests. But some attempt was made by previous administrations to provide at least some legal and democratic justification, however threadbare, cynical, deceitful, and hypocritical, for their actions. When criminal acts were exposed, they were excused with formal expressions of regret as unfortunate departures from official enforcement of legal norms. That stage has passed. Trump's speech was remarkable for its lack of disguise. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages, where they belong, he declared. He threatened that the United States would strike every one of their electric generating plants very hard.
War crimes.
Hard, probably simultaneously. He boasted of the decapitation of the leadership. They're all dead. What found expression in these remarks was not simply the pathology of an individual, but the essential character of a social layer that has become habituated to criminality and no longer feels compelled to apologize for it.
Boom. He just keep getting away with it. He does what he wants to do. Now, this is Bibi congratulating us, okay? Let's get it. Together with our American friends, we continue to crush. This is the instigator of this war. The terror regime in Iran. We are eliminating commanders bombing bridges, a war crime. Bombing infrastructures. In recent days, the Air Force has destroyed 70% of Iran's steel production capacity. This is a tremendous achievement that deprives the revolutionary. Guards of both financial resources and the ability to produce mass weapons in full coordination between me and President Trump. Between the Israel and the U.S. armies. He's so happy. We will continue to crush Iran. The regime is weaker than ever. Israel is stronger than ever. And again, I told you guys before, okay? When we went into this, we had our objectives and Israel had their objectives. They think of war on a whole different level, okay? So we went in to help them, but with different objectives. So we were never on the same page as Israel. Never.
President Trump spent the day yesterday behind closed doors.
And now he's asking for more money, okay, for this war of choice.
Meeting with this national security team as the war in Iran intensifies. Well, days earlier, he had signaled the
$1.5 trillion, but he can't help the mothers. He can't help the mothers that with daycare, but he's asking for 1.5 trillion in defense funds for an unauthorized war, a war of choice.
end could be near.
He's looking for a way out. Clearly, this war has not gone the way they thought.
Unimpressed Democrats on Capitol Hill are mounting pressure on the White House to wrap up the war with Iran, something President Trump signaled in a primetime address to the nation this week.
He's going to have a hard time getting it.
I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly.
The president again extended Friday's deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to Monday night as it continues to squeeze a choke point for the world's energy supply in retaliation for the U.S.'s attacks. On social media Friday, Trump floated the U.S. could reopen the strait with, quote, a little more time. Now a spending battle.
You see? He's so unstable. 1 minute he walking away, go get your own oil, to now, if you don't open it. And I mean, he was cursing and everything else. I cannot wait to get to that part.
Looms over Washington. The Trump administration sent next year's budget request to Congress, asking for $1.5 trillion for the Pentagon, a more than 40% increase.
I'm telling you guys now, Congress is not with it. They said no. They're not giving it to him.
From the current fiscal year, while seeking to cut non-defense spending by 10%.
Well, that's staggering.
Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin told CBS's Major Garrett that ask will be met with questions as Democrats have repeatedly tried and failed to rein in Trump's war powers.
I think that we're going to need to return to constitutional government, both in terms of congressional exercise of the war powers and in terms of congressional control over the purse.
Also skeptical.
And gang, I told you guys before, the reason why at first I was like, why is Congress not doing anything? Why, you know what I mean? The reason why they're not doing anything is because they would have to take the responsibility of the war. And they don't want that responsibility.
Some Republicans, Senate Appropriations Chair Susan Collins of Maine, in a statement said the request had, quote, several shortcomings and was concerned about including significant cuts to domestic spending, adding that, quote, while the administration proposes a budget, Congress holds the power of the purse.
Bingo. Congress holds the power of the purse. He's not getting that money. Let's go.
Now, if approved, the money would be used to build 18 new Navy warships, Trump's Golden Dome, and allow for a pay raise for troops. The White House is also preparing to ask for Congress a supplemental spending package that could cover the cost of the conflict with Iran.
It's now been discovered that a drone company backed by Donald Trump's sons is...
Now, let me show you guys how Trump's sons, how they making money off this war. Hit the like, Diamond Gang, please. Get me to 100 likes. Let's go.
Now working to sell interceptor systems to Gulf countries who are being attacked by Iran because of a war that Trump started. The company is based in Florida and called Power Us, and just last month, they announced a deal to bring aboard Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. Here's what Richard Painter had to say, a former chief White House ethics lawyer under George W. Bush. These countries are under enormous pressure to buy from the sons of the president, so he will do what they want. This is going to be the first family of a president to make a lot of money off war, a war he didn't get the consent of Congress for. Power Us denied there were any conflicts when the Trump brothers' stake was first announced. This, of course, isn't true. It was announced in early March, and we started the war with Iran February 28th. When asked about their corruption, Trump's sons said since they didn't get enough credit for their restraint in expanding their businesses during Trump's first term, they've decided to...
They are making hella money off these drones. Let's go.
Do not hold back much at all this time. This is corruption at levels we've truly never seen before in this country. Just imagine if Joe Biden started a war unilaterally with another country for no reason and his son was profiting off of it.
Context. Trump is calling on Congress to increase the military's budget by more than 40%, 40. He wants 1.5 trillion.
Listen, Pay attention. This is how Trump and his sons are cashing in on this war. Okay?
$1 trillion of your taxes for the military. He wants to dramatically cut domestic social services to square that bill. That'll sound familiar to many of you. But at the same time, Trump is saying that the government can't afford to support American families, saying that he needs all that money for his war. This is the peace president who didn't want to get us into wars. And here's the thing. Trump's own family seems to be cashing in on the war. Weeks ago, the New York Times reported that Trump's son-in-law was asking Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states for billions of dollars in new investments while simultaneously acting as one of America's top negotiators in the region. He says he's a government volunteer, but he and Steve Witkoff.
Remember, I showed you guys the other day, Bibi, Israel used to stay at his house. He's been knowing Bibi for years, since he was a kid. You know, Bibi went to school here in the U.S.
Are apparently central to this whole negotiation with Iran. Kushner's investment firm, Affinity Partners, insists that it is following the law, and the White House said Kushner is only acting in the best interest of the American public. I feel better now. But now we have new reporting showing that it isn't just Jared Kushner that might be profiting off of this war. Last night, the Associated Press reported that a drone company backed by Trump's adult sons, Eric and Don Jr., is actively trying to sell their drones to Gulf countries that are under attack from Iran.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Let me back it up just a little bit. They making millions. Let's go.
Following the law, and the White House said Kushner is only acting in the best interest of the American public. I feel better now. But now we have new reporting showing that it isn't just Jared Kushner that might be profiting off of this war. Last night, the Associated Press reported that a drone company backed by Trump's adult sons, Eric and Don Jr., is actively trying to sell their drones to Gulf countries that are under attack from Iran, countries that need the support of the military, of which Eric and Don Jr.'s dad just so happens to be the commander-in-chief. The Trump Organization has dismissed claims that there's a conflict of interest.
What y'all think about that?
Interest here, as has the drone company. Trump is asking Americans to tighten their belts, to shell out for this war. He's asking Americans to risk their lives and the lives of their family members, all while his family appears to be getting rich off of it.
They're making millions off that drone. Diamond Gang, get me up to 100 likes. I got over 500 people in the building. Can you please hit the like? Please, 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 and thank you. If you would like to support the channel, super chat, super sticker. I believe my Cash App is pinned. It may not be. Thank you, guys.
This war.
Trump has pocketed at least.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all getting ready to see how much money Trump has pocketed. Okay, let's get it.
$1.4 billion. This is all in his first year. This is an astonishing level, unprecedented level of corruption. 23 million in licensing deals for overseas real estate projects. A new
Are y'all listening? I need y'all to hit the like. Hit the like.
hotel in Oman, a new golf course in Saudi Arabia, just to name a couple. $28 million from Amazon for a documentary about Melania Trump.
Which was a flop.
90 million from various other technology and entertainment companies like X and Paramount in the form of legal settlements. When Trump goes to battle with these corporations, it is leverage and conflict of interest at its worst. Then, of course, there's a $400 million jet from the government of Qatar, which Trump has said he plans to take with him when he leaves office. And then more than $850 million from his crypto coin schemes. People who hope to influence federal policy, including foreigners, can buy his family coins now, effectively transferring money to the Trumps, and the deals are often in secret. And this is just the first year of his second term.
First year. That's how much Trump has pocketed, Diamond Gang. That's how much he's pocketed.
He still has 3 more years to go to rack up even more grift off of the American taxpayer. 1 year ago, Donald Trump swore an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States and to serve the American people. But Donald Trump doesn't care about the Constitution. Clearly, Donald Trump is selling you out while he lines his own pockets.
We have some very serious news regarding Iran this morning. It's been more than 24 hours since the United
Now we getting ready to get into the mission when they rescued the second guy. Let's go. They were quiet. They was very quiet yesterday.
States official CENTCOM account has posted any updates in the war. There is still a United States service member being hunted down by Iranian authorities in southern Iran as we speak. Trump has stayed silent. Hegseth has stayed silent. The army has stayed silent. It was possibly the worst day for the United States of America in the war yesterday, and it looks as though it may continue today. Yesterday, you had multiple aircraft shot down by Iranian air defense, despite Trump and Hegseth claiming that they had air superiority and could do whatever they want. That's just not true. And at the same time, Pete Hegseth is reportedly becoming increasingly paranoid that he could lose his job as Secretary of Defense. And according to the New York Post, that is what's fueling.
Did y'all hear that? That's what's fueling. That's why he started firing people. Paranoia. He was getting the competition out the way. Let's go.
Many of these fires that we're seeing. We're seeing Hegseth force generals out, force them to take early retirement, force them out of their jobs. Major developments right now. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. I'll have more soon.
All right. Trump warns that time is running out. He couldn't stay quiet too long for Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Y'all knew he couldn't stay quiet long. There goes his first threat yesterday.
We have some news right now. We're back to the threats. Iran has 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God, President Donald J. Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is threatening Iran with hell raining down on them, despite saying that the United States has won the war on at least 5 separate occasions, probably more, despite saying that Iran and the United States have been negotiating on multiple occasions. And despite saying
that part, he said, we won the war. We're in negotiations. Everything is so good. And then bingo, here goes another threat.
Saying that the United States has decimated Iran, which we know now is not true because Iran has successfully shot down.
Listen, Iran is still at 50%. He didn't decimate. He didn't obliterate nothing. And then again, I told you guys again, they are getting help from Russia.
Numerous American aircraft, and there is still an American service member as of this post, still missing and currently being hunted down by the Iranians in southern Iran.
Now, Diamond Gang, this is, I go through the motions. I go through the step by step. This is prior to him being found.
As America conducts search and rescue operations, 48 hours. 48 hours is Monday. It would be after the markets open. We'll see if he follows through. I doubt it, but we'll see. As always, follow along for all the news you need to know about.
These threats is getting out of control. They're not budging.
More to come very soon.
Breaking as moments ago, Trump just put Iran on another 48-hour countdown. He posted on Truth Social saying, remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God. Glory be to God. This is wild because Trump and Hegseth have been invoking religion into their
that part, evoking religion.
Military actions. There is no separation of church and state anymore, and they are calling the United States a Christian nation, which is completely untrue. We are a nation of freedom of religion. You can have
that part, freedom of religion. They trying to force it.
Whatever religion you want. We don't subscribe to any one particular religion here. This is bonkers. And if you were to ask Trump to recite any single verse of the Bible, he would be unable to.
That part right there, unable to.
Because he's never read it. He knows nothing about it, and he doesn't care. He's just playing everyone. Wake up. Comment, like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
This is really getting sad at this point. This is the third 48-hour warning.
Guess what, Diamond Gang? We're going to get into it because he did it again today. Let's go.
That Donald Trump has given Iran, and they've ignored him every time, and he backs off every time because, frankly, there's not much left to hit in Iran. And most of their stuff is so far underground, we can't get it. So there are reports that there are at least 1,000 attack drones left for Iran. They have a lot of surface-to-air missile technology still, as we've seen, where they shot down 2 F-15 fighters yesterday. And this is Trump's reaction to it, is to just throw some sort of hissy fit on a Saturday morning. Notice he did it on a Saturday when the markets weren't open also. But here we are, folks. Donald Trump has brought us into this war, and now he can't find a way to get out of it because Iran is basically like, this is much more...
And he keeps trying to intimidate and bully them. They are not afraid.
Much more beneficial to us if you just stay here and we keep the Strait of Hormuz closed and everyone hates the United States because you're making gas more expensive, from the guy who said he would solve the affordability crisis on day one. So yeah, we've also fired all of the generals who were willing to stand up to Pete Hegseth and Donald
in the middle of a war.
Trump, the ones that were the most revered and respected in the military. So now we are left with the people who will just say yes to no matter what. So we are literally being led by idiots.
Again, he's surrounded by a bunch of yes men.
All levels of government at this point. Another wonderful...
Diamond Gang, if you could remember last week, I told you there was cracks and fractures in between him and his team. I told you this about a week ago. I told you they were going back and forth. A lot of people was not on board, and I'm pretty sure it was the ones that were terminated.
Decision by MAGA to elect this guy, and look at the mess we're in now.
We have some news right now. If you want to know how Donald Trump's threat is being perceived.
Listen, this is Iran, and listen what they say. Listen, Diamond Gang, I got almost 600 people in the room. Could you hit the like? Get me to 100 likes. I got 73 likes. Please and thank you.
In Iran, of raining hell on Iran. Well, this is an Iranian official, senior national security official. Iran will send you and your soldiers straight to the depths of hell where you've always belonged. Glory be to God. That's in response to Donald Trump saying time is running out, 48 hours, all hell.
That's what Iran said. That is what Iran gave us. Iran will send you and your soldiers straight to the depths of hell where you've always belonged. Glory be to God. That is what they said. They're not taking his threat serious. So Diamond Gang, buckle up, hold on. Yeah, it's definitely going to have to be boots on the ground. And guess what? We done got ourselves into a forever war. Let's go.
Will rain down on them. Glory be to God. All signs point to this war not ending anytime soon, despite what Donald Trump is saying and all the...
Because if we get there and we take over the straits, we will be there to stay for a while. I'm just saying. Thanks for hitting the like, y'all. Thank you. I got 82. Come on, Diamond Gang. I know y'all could get me there. Let's go.
Hardline talk that he's posting on his Truth Social page and all what he's saying publicly. Iran seems to be, at least from what it's saying publicly, really grounded in its position. Why would it just surrender when it thinks it's winning this war? So that's where we're at. Let me know what you think. Spread the word. Follow for more.
President Donald. And a win for them is not the type of win that we would perceive or what a win is for us. A win for them is what they're doing right now, causing chaos globally as far as the gas. That's a win for them. He could crush and destroy. Nothing can be left in Iran. But as long as they got the straits on lock, that's a win for them. So I don't see them giving up.
Trump's latest message to Tehran. Time is running out, reiterating his threat to target Iranian power facilities if the Strait of Hormuz isn't...
Thanks, Diamond Gang. I need 11 more likes. I love y'all. I love my gang.
Fully reopened. In a Saturday morning social media post, he wrote, quote, "Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait?"
Listen, Diamond Gang. It went from 48 hours to 5 days to 10 days, back to 48 hours. Now it's another 48. Come on.
Time is running out, 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Since Trump first made that threat, the timeline has changed multiple times. First set at 48 hours, then put on pause for 5 days. Most recently, the deadline was set for Monday, April 6th.
When his bullying tactics didn't work, now he's just buying time, Diamond Gang. He's trying to buy time. He don't know what the hell to do to get us up out of this.
Now, Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican from South Carolina, he spoke with Trump on the phone today and said that he believes this timeline will stick. He said that he supports Trump's ultimatum and that he believes the president will use overwhelming force if Iran continues to impede the strait.
Well, we start you with a new development. The president is boasting another mass assassination of Iranian leaders who gathered together. The president posted on Truth Social. Many of Iran's leaders who have led them poorly and unwisely are terminated. He posted it with a video of an airstrike. It coincides with him.
And Diamond Gang, that means nothing to them. It doesn't. Like I said, and I said this a million times, it just makes the regime even more dangerous. That's it. That's all.
Information from a Telegram channel that more than 50 senior Iranian officials were eliminated.
And it means they have no stop button. So they're continuously on go. With no leaders, no stop button. They're on go.
In a combined strike from Israeli and U.S. forces, Israel, it should be noted, denies participation in this one.
This war is not our war. This is.
All right, now we're going to see what Iran has to say. Oh, I need 5 more likes, Diamond Gang. Get me there. Get me there. I got over 600 people in the room. Come on. I need 5 more likes. Come on, come on, come on. I still got way more information to go over. We got to get to what happened today, and a lot has happened.
It's not our choice. This is a war of choice by the United States. There is no request for the negotiation with the U.S. From us. We have never sent any messages to them.
And I told you guys, he was talking to Pakistan. He was talking to the president of Iran, but he has no power. He has no power.
President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
Y'all hear that? We are waiting for them. We are waiting for them. Did y'all hear that? They got a hell of a military.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
Distinguished delegates, dear colleagues, Iran stands today amid the throes of an illegal war imposed by 2 bullying nuclear-armed regimes, the United States and Israel. This war of aggression is blatantly unjustified and brutal. They initiated this aggression on 28 February, while Iran and the United States were engaged in a diplomatic process to resolve America.
Let me tell you something. Iran's military, roughly 920,000 total military personnel when you combined active duty and reserve forces. Okay? Active duty, 570,000. Reserve personnel, 350,000. Total military manpower, 920,000. So I'm just saying.
Americans' alleged concerns over Iran's nuclear program. They betrayed diplomacy for a second time in the course of 9 months by torpedoing the negotiating table.
And Bibi convinced him. Israel convinced Trump to do this. Let's go. I got almost 7 in the building. Hit the like. Thank you.
Among the most harrowing manifestations of this aggression was the calculated, phased assault on Shajarat Tayyebe Elementary School in the city of Minab, south of Iran, where more than 175 students and teachers were slaughtered in cold blood. This barbaric attack is but the visible tip of a far bigger iceberg, one that conceals beneath its surface far graver catastrophes, namely the normalization of the most abhorrent violations of human rights and humanitarian law, and the audacity to...
And that's what they're upset about, the war crimes, them threatening to basically bomb bridges and hospitals. And yeah, let's go.
Commit atrocity crimes with impunity.
Thank you. Foreign Minister, can I ask you, James Bays from Al.
Now, this was yesterday, Diamond Gang. We are very close to what happened today. So stay tuned. Let's get it.
Jazeera, snapback seems inevitable in a matter of hours. What will that mean for the people of Iran? And after snapback in the short term, is there any opening now for diplomacy?
Well, as I said in my statement, this mechanism is the activation of this mechanism is.
And I told y'all over a week ago, they had him on a hit list. Israel did. Trump, what we told them, stop. If you keep unaliving everyone, we won't have nobody to negotiate with. That's another thing. We got to get a hold of Israel. They're doing too much at times.
Illegal and should considered void and null. We don't think it can impact the people of Iran, especially the people of Iran's determination to defend their rights. The question is, what it impacts is diplomacy. It closed the way of diplomacy. If agreements can be broken at will, no nation can trust international commitments. If unlawful measures are enforced by power instead of law, the Security Council itself will lose authority. Let me end with this. Military attacks have failed. Snapback will fail too. The only solution is dialogue and diplomacy. The JCPOA proves this. Iran will never bow to pressure. We respond only to respect.
Did you hear that? So this is what I'm saying. How are you out there threatening these people, but negotiations is going well? They said they will never fold, and they demand respect.
The choice is clear, escalation or diplomacy. The responsibility lies with those who...
So they pushing a hard line too. They are. We're saying, listen, if you don't do A, B, or C, which is the 15 points, they never did tell us what those were. But we know what Iran was asking for. And it was a little bit too much. I'm thinking, a toll, reparations, like, yeah, okay. They were asking for a lot.
Broke their commitments and undermined international law. The choice is clear, escalation or diplomacy. But what happened? Only after 1 year, the United States withdrew and reimposed its sanctions. Again this year, we were asked to negotiate and we accepted. What happened?
They did accept, and they actually they offered to dilute that uranium. They offered to dilute that uranium and to sell it as something else. That's how close we were. And then we bombed them.
Right in the middle of negotiations, the United States decided to attack us. Israel attacked and U.S. joined.
Bingo. So Israel attacked first, and then we joined the war. Bibi convinced Trump. Okay? That's what happened.
So we have no reason to trust Americans when it comes to negotiation. So what His Eminence, the Supreme Leader, said is absolutely correct, that negotiation with the United States is in fact a pure dead end.
So that's it. There you have it. They said they're not negotiating. They don't trust us. So Trump's been lying. And I said again, he's been talking to Pakistan, and he did have some conversations with the president of Iran, who has no power.
Diplomacy is dead now, given all your efforts failed.
Diplomacy would never die, but it would be certainly more difficult and more complicated than before.
It seems like the pilot is...
Now, Diamond Gang, this is late in the day, and they were being very silent. They actually faked Iran out, okay? So I'm going to show you that and how they found the pilot.
Still alive, and therefore it would be expected, given the fact that the U.S. air crew members and special forces undergo survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training, that he will try to blend with the terrain and to survive as long as possible, to make it possible for the U.S. crews to locate him and to rescue.
They actually claimed that they rescued him prior to them actually rescuing him. And I'm going to show you how they did it.
Rescue him, but then again, you have the contradiction of if he hides well and conceals his location, because the US is operating from the air, it needs constant intelligence and surveillance in order to be able to locate him. Besides, some reports indicate that the pilot doesn't speak Persian, which means that it will be difficult for him to negotiate with the Iranians should he be captured by civilians or should he be found by civilians. And therefore, it's a race for time because right now we have this critical window of up to 72 hours where both sides are trying to get hold of the pilot.
I'm not going to lie. Our military, that rescue was, woof, they did it.
For both military and political purposes.
Breaking news as the White House unexpectedly cut off press access to Trump today, canceled all public events. They called a lid.
The reason why they were doing this and people swore he was in a hospital is because they were planning on a rescue.
Press photos with the president, and they said they're not ready to have any sort of public speaking engagement regarding the missing airman in Iran until it seems like he is found. He is still, as of this hour, not been located yet. The search has become frantic, and they're now worried that Iran might have captured this airman and might hold leverage over.
They knew exactly what was going on, and they knew he was still alive. And I'm going to show you guys how. I'm proud of this.
The United States. So this situation could become more serious as we learn more here in the next few hours. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
All hell will rain down on Iran if the Strait of Hormuz is not opened by the deadline of April 6th. That is what Donald Trump said on Truth Social. And there's a lot of things happening with Iran right now we got to break down. The exact quote that Trump said was,
Diamond Gang, keep your notifications on because I'm going to go live tomorrow about this.
Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out. 48 hours before hell will rain down on them. Glory to God. Hey, remember that yesterday an F-15E fighter jet crashed inside of Iran? Well, the search for the missing pilot is still ongoing. While the United States is searching via air, via helicopters and other aircraft, we know the Iranians are also searching for the pilot because the Iranian government wants said pilot. And Trump was actually asked,
we faked them out, y'all. It's coming up.
About whether or not this F-15 going down would mess up any negotiations, and he said, no, not at all. No, it's war. Which, as it pertains to the war, U.S. intelligence is stating that it doesn't look like anytime soon the Strait of Hormuz will actually reopen, though I need to add that we have.
And here's the thing, Diamond Gang, even if it was reopened, other countries will be in fear to pass, okay? So it will not just simply return back to normal. We will not be able to come home.
Seen a couple ships go through. Today, we've seen a Turkish ship. We've also seen a French ship over the past few days. So some ships are making their way through. Interestingly, here in the United States,
they're making their way through. Did you guys know that Iran was charging $2 million a pop to pass through? Yeah, they were. Let's go.
Saw U.S. federal agents arrest the niece and grandniece of the late Iranian military commander. They had some kind of lawful permanent status, and well, that was revoked. State Department said that the niece and grandniece are now in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Marco Rubio saying that those two are pending removal from the United States, adding, quote, the Trump administration will now allow our country to become a home for foreign nationals who support anti-American terrorist regimes. U.S. officials are alleging that they both have been celebrating the Iranian attacks on American bases. And it's because of that, the U.S. State Department decided to remove and revoke those green cards. And so now they're pending removal from the United States. And one final thing, which is kind of like a warning to the United States, the Iranian state media is reporting that Iran is getting ready to introduce some kind of new air defense system on the battlefield to be used against Israel and the.
This is why I got this clip. Did you guys hear that? And I'm pretty sure they got help from Russia.
United States.
But then again, they have enough money if they're charging $2 million. And then Trump lifted sanctions. So they have more than enough money to rebuild whatever they lost military-wise.
It only came a day after they shot down multiple aircraft throughout Iran. Remember, there's also helicopters that were damaged yesterday, and many believe it's
They got us 4 times Friday
because they were flying low to do search and rescue missions, which then made them a very easy target from the Iranian forces. But it's possible that Iran may have already used that new air defense systems to target those 2 aircraft, the F-15 and the Warthog. I will have a lot of news for you guys today, so do make sure you share this video and do make sure you're following.
In just the last few hours, Trump laying out a new ultimatum for Iran. So what is he demanding now?
Alex, President Trump says he's not backing down from his deadline. That is just 2 days from now for Iran to reach
All right, he said this before, Diamond Gang. We shall see.
a ceasefire agreement with the U.S. Now, we've seen him push back this deadline 3 times now, but he says that he's holding firm this time. He had this to say on Truth Social this morning. Time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. That's what he wrote this morning around 10 a.m. And Senator Lindsey Graham, that Republican senator who has been one of the White House's biggest advocates when it comes to this conflict, he says he spoke to President Trump this morning, and he says he's convinced now that the U.S. will use overwhelming military force against the Iranian regime.
Overwhelming military force, boots on the ground.
If there is not a diplomatic solution to this conflict and they do not open up that Strait of Hormuz. But we're seeing this pressure from the White House at a time that this conflict is incredibly fraught. As you just heard from our colleague, there continues to be a search for this missing second crew member, and Iranian officials are telling their citizens to find this person alive, potentially raising the stakes for a hostage situation. But President Trump told NBC News yesterday that he doesn't believe.
And if they would have, they could have used him as a bargaining chip. So thank God we rescued him.
That this situation will impact negotiations. And we've seen Vice President J.D. Vance take a greater role in what remains to be indirect talks between the U.S. and Iran, particularly because Iran, frankly, has been distrustful of Steve Witkoff.
Right. They don't want to talk to Kushner or Witkoff. They will talk to Vance, but not those two. They don't trust them.
Witkoff and Jared Kushner, who typically lead these kinds of negotiations on behalf of President Trump.
The internet is exploding right now with speculation over Trump's health as he abruptly cut off all.
This is what I'm talking about. They had so many rumors that he was unalived. He was no longer here. He's in critical condition. I never seen so many people cheering this on. I don't do stuff like that. I don't care how much I don't like you. I don't do stuff like that.
Press access today called a lid at 11 a.m. and hasn't been seen since. But guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't think Big Beautiful Day is upon us just yet. It'll be here soon, but is it going to be today? Unlikely, and here's why. Freelance White House photographer Andrew Layden posted these images outside Walter Reed. There is no Marine One. There is no motorcade. It appears as normal. Trump is not there. And then Nick Sorter posted a video showing the Marine sentry still outside the White House, indicating that Trump is still there. Then we have this post from Trump not that long ago. He's been active on Truth Social all day, showing strikes being conducted in Iran. So guys, this is why he's at the White House. They are working on military operations in Iran. What happened to that 48-hour countdown? All signs point that Trump is alive and is working.
That was crazy. This right here was crazy. People was literally praying on that man's downfall. That's ugly.
And it's just wild how much speculation grew from this, because it just indicates how many people really want that big, beautiful day and are ready to celebrate. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread.
Hey, I don't like the man, but I'm not celebrating. I'm telling you, that will come back on you like crazy.
The word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Trump's appearances have all been canceled for the day, and there's wild speculation that
I just got a couple people. They was so concerned, like tripping.
He may not be doing well. He has remained active on Truth Social. Just about 15 minutes ago, which is about 4:30 DC, he posted this. Many of Iran's military leaders who have led them poorly and unwisely are terminated, along with much else, with this massive strike in Tehran. And it's about a minute-long video where he shares explosions. And you can clearly see that it's a civilian.
And that's all he does is look at explosions. That's it. That's all. That's all they, show him is us, blowing stuff up.
Area with all the lights. And even an hour ago, he posted, if you import the third world, you become the third world. And that's not going to happen to the United States as long as I'm president. So somebody could be posting on his behalf. We can all still hope for an Easter miracle. He then posted approval ratings for JD Vance, which he doesn't usually give a shout out to anybody else other than himself. These approval ratings come from polls that he sends out to his supporters, to people that sign up for the emails and sign up for updates from him. But in order to submit the responses, you have to make a donation. So even though people are donating and giving money to answer questions that they send,
that part right there is insane.
And it's still not 100%. Like, wow. If I polled all the people that love me and said, do you love me? I would expect it to be 100% approval rating. I'm just saying. He had some other approval ratings. This one.
We have not seen Donald Trump all day. He has not made an appearance in the public at all. We haven't seen him as there's a war going on around the world, and we are still searching for an American service member who was shot down by Iran. Now, there were a lot of rumors today circulating on social media that he was at Walter Reed or that he was sick or something like that. That is not true. There's been no evidence of that.
See, Diamond Gang, I told y'all, they thought he was gone.
But we just haven't seen him. And he's been posting on social media regularly, doing his normal thing in his all caps, but he hasn't talked about the service members at all. Still hasn't commented on it. At 5:04 p.m. today, there was a Marine sentry standing outside of the White House, an entrance that kind of leads to the Oval Office, meaning that Donald Trump is working in the Oval Office. Working, I say, not actually working, but in the Oval Office, meaning that he was in the White House, but they called a lid at 11 a.m. today. So we just haven't seen him. No questions, no nothing. He also didn't go to Florida for the weekend, which he normally does. Normally he's golfing at this time. So maybe that means something. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I think it's concerning.
All right. After this, we're going to get into the rescue. And then we're going to get into these new threats. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
That in the middle of this war, in the middle of the search for this service member who is still missing, Donald Trump calls a lid at 11 a.m. and isn't seen at all that day. It's pretty weird.
Trump is not at Walter Reed, so everyone forget that. He's at the White House, and they're conducting a major operation to try and retrieve the missing F-15 pilot. Now, he was the weapons officer, and it appears that they got into a firefight with Iranian forces once they came into contact with the pilot. So it sounds like an intense.
Now, this is where they faked them out. This was all fake, y'all. This was fake.
Ground battle might have taken place to retrieve this pilot. I'm hearing now that the U.S. has retrieved.
They did that as a distraction.
This weapons officer, and they have him, but there was a massive battle that took place to get him out. Guys, this is according to Jack Murphy. He posted about it on X, and there are other videos circulating on X showing the firefight, showing the aftermath, and you can hear the sounds of the helicopters and things like that. So guys, it appears that this seems to be real and that has happened. I have not been able to independently confirm it myself just yet, other than what I'm showing you right here. So we hope to have news about this here very soon. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
We have some fantastic breaking news. It's midnight on the East Coast right now, and it's now been confirmed that the second missing American in that down jet in Iran has now been rescued by American forces. This has been confirmed by Axios, Fox News, Al Jazeera. U.S. Special
We did a hell of a job, y'all.
Forces rescued the second crew member of the F-15 fighter jet that
Thanks for hitting a like.
was shot down over Iran, according to 3 U.S. officials. This missing soldier used survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training to evade capture, hiding on an elevated ridge after hiking away from the wreckage and putting out.
This moment right here is what made Trump super cocky, and he just started going crazy. We about to get into it.
an emergency beacon. This was an incredibly complex mission that took Americans deep into Iranian territory to complete it. And according to this same report, 2 rescue helicopters were hit by enemy fire on Friday, and crew members on board were injured by enemy fire, but managed to make it out of Iran, which is a miracle and fantastic news. One of the mottos of the military is no man left behind, and they really exercise that here. So just shout out to everybody that was part of this mission.
Yes, they do. I'm ex-military.
And shout out to the Americans on the ground who were able to do it. Truly a remarkable, remarkable feat. And I'm glad that this American on their way home.
We have breaking news out of the Middle East, where CBS News has learned that the second American crew member from the downed F-15E in Iran was rescued by special forces Sunday morning local time, according to multiple U.S. officials. The second crew member, a weapons systems officer, was one of 2 people on board. Both airmen ejected. U.S. officials said the pilot of that aircraft was rescued Friday, a short time after Iranian forces downed.
Look at that. That's when the plane went down, y'all.
The aircraft over western Iran. That pilot's condition has not yet been released. For more information on this breaking development tonight, we turn to CBS News national security coordinating producer James Laporta. He's a U.S. Marine veteran, infantryman, and veteran of the Afghanistan war. James, what are we learning right now about how this rescue mission came together and how the airman was ultimately brought to safety?
Yeah, so this was really a race against time. From the moment that F-15 went down, it was a race for U.S. forces to try to retrieve both pilots.
That's when that training kicked in.
And separately separate from this event, there was another plane that went down on Friday. We had an A-10 that was shot down. That pilot ejected and was rescued, and he is safe. But from the moment that this F-15 was shot down, it was a race. So combat search and rescue assets were launched, and they were able to recover the pilot of that F-15. However,
let me tell you guys how proud I am, because they were deep into Iran's territory. I mean, super deep. Like,
they were not able to, as you pointed out, they were not able to rescue the weapons systems officer. The weapons systems officer, had been hiding with essentially no more than a pistol to defend himself.
That's all he had on him, y'all, was a pistol. That's it.
For the last 48 hours. And so, multiple U.S. military assets came into play, along with intelligence capabilities, cyber operations came into play, even our space assets came into play in order to rescue.
I can't remember, but it'll come up in this next clip what it is, but he had some type of something, I don't know, some type of something that went off that, that they were able to detect where he was, his location. Let's just say that.
This American.
So we've just gotten a truth social from President Trump on all of this. It's a long one, so bear with me here. The president wrote, "We got him, my fellow Americans. Over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers, who also happens to be a highly respected colonel, and who I am thrilled to let you know is now safe and sound. This brave warrior was
God is good.
Behind enemy lines in the treacherous mountains of Iran, being hunted down by our enemies, who were getting closer and closer by the hour, but was never truly alone because his commander..."
They literally was announcing on news, like, to everyone, if you find him, like, they wanted him bad.
In-Chief, Secretary of War, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and fellow warfighters were monitoring his location 24 hours a day and diligently planning his rescue. At my direction, the U.S. military...
If they would have caught him, that would have been so bad for us, because, like I said again, Iran could have used him as a bargaining chip.
Military sent dozens of aircraft armed with the most lethal weapons in the world to retrieve him. He sustained injuries, but he will be just fine. The miraculous search and rescue operation comes in addition to a successful rescue of another brave pilot yesterday, which we did not confirm. because we did not want to jeopardize our second rescue operation.
That's why they were quiet. They didn't want to jeopardize it.
This is the first time in military memory that 2 U.S. pilots have been rescued separately deep in enemy territory. We will never leave an American warfighter behind. The fact that we were able to pull off both these operations without a single American killed or even wounded just proves once again that we have achieved overwhelming air dominance and superiority over the Iranians.
Here we go with the lies. No, we don't. If that was the case, they wouldn't have been able to take us down.
Guys, this is a moment that all Americans, Republican, Democrat, and everyone else should be proud of and united around. We have the best, most professional and lethal military in the history of the world. God bless America. God bless our troops. And happy Easter to all.
The search and rescue mission for the second F-15 pilot in Iran is officially over, and this comes from the President of the United States. Trump confirmed this on Truth Social, saying we got him, and talked about the rescue operation a little bit and said they sent in dozens of aircraft to conduct this rescue operation. He talked about how the airmen was deep behind enemy lines and that they will
I told you guys, he was deep. I mean, deep.
never leave an American warfighter behind. He addressed why they had not acknowledged yet the downed aircraft and the rescue of the first pilot because they didn't want to jeopardize the second rescue operation. But he said they were monitoring the pilot's location the entire time. He acknowledged that they were able to pull off both operations without any other service members being injured or killed. This is certainly excellent news on the eve of Easter and just underscores how dangerous these military operations really are.
All right, so some great news.
Now he's going to get into how it went down. I love this guy. Very bright.
Start your Easter Sunday. The downed American airman that was behind enemy lines in Iran for more than 24 hours has been recovered. Sounds like what might be one of the most complex rescue operations in modern American history. And it's incredible, right? And I just want to stress real quick how awesome it is that the resources that we put in play, the risks we take to make sure that we bring everyone home. Right, no man left behind. This person was around 200 miles inside of Iranian territory, and we risked maybe hundreds of people to make sure that he came home. That is awesome. I think it does an incredible job showing what our military and our country is all about. Now, in terms of the details of this operation, a lot of it is still unknown, and it should be unknown. This is, and will continue to be highly classified in a lot of ways because
And let me apologize. There's another clip behind this that's going to go into the details. I thought it was him, and if it's not this one, it's the next video. I'm sorry, guys.
Tactics used, the techniques used to bring home a downed American behind enemy lines is still important today because we still have airmen overhead in Iran and will be important in the future. So don't expect a lot of details out of this. So far, what we have at this point from the New York Times, they say that the airman was in Iran for more than 24 hours, at one point hiking up a 7,000-foot ridge line.
Y'all hear that? Hiking.
They say U.S. Air Force, U.S. attack aircraft are dropping bombs and open fire on Iranian convoys to keep them away from the area. And as U.S. commandos converged on the downed airmen, they fired their weapons to keep Iranian forces away from the rescue, but did not engage in a firefight with the Iranians. Now, our understanding at this point is...
Now, see what I told you guys, the clip prior to that? He was like, oh, they got into, a fight between the Iranians, and they were firing back and forth. That's not true. That was like a dummy move.
As the rescue took place near Isfahan, one of Iran's largest cities, and the United States was able to set up a FARP, forward arming and refueling point, just to the outside of the city, which is wild. So just to understand that, we flew in things like C-130s that can conduct austere landings, like dirt fields, things like that. They unloaded helicopters, ammunition, and fuel, so that helicopters could be on station for a longer period of time, conduct the rescue, get into the little crevices of this mountain complex, and then came out in 200 miles inside of Iran. That's insane. Now, it does sound like there were some hiccups on exfil, and at least 2 of the aircraft were stuck in the mud, so they had to request additional platforms being moved in. Those did move in. They were able to extract everyone. It sounds like maybe 2 C-130s and an MH.
So, Diamond Gang, do you hear how complex this was? Just think about how complex it will be if we do put boots on the ground and we go after that uranium. That is, I'm telling you guys, even the thought of it got my head spinning.
6 Little Bird helicopter were destroyed, like by the United States, who said rather than leave them behind, bomb those things, destroy them. That's what's being put out right now. And according to the U.S. government, zero casualties. Like nobody killed, nobody wounded. They say the weapons service officer was wounded during not during the rescue, but during the ejection in that process, but that he'll be fine. So overall, incredible news. Incredible news that we're not just able to do this type of operation, but that we're willing to do
that part.
Do this. So to that weapons service officer, welcome home.
Yeah, news right now. This is Donald Trump's Easter morning message. He posted this.
All right, y'all. We getting ready to get into the threats. Let's get it.
Before even mentioning Easter this morning, posted this after a U.S. service member was rescued in Iran. Quote, Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. Real. This is real. 100% real. Not AI, not any of that. This is 100% real. President of the United States just posted it within the past 20 minutes, as you can see, on his Truth Social. He didn't post anything about Easter. He didn't post anything else this morning. Nothing to the American.
This is the comment that got them wanting to make him step down and invoke the 25th Amendment. This right here, y'all.
People, this is what he is posting, though. If Joe Biden or Barack Obama posted this on Easter morning, George Bush posted this on Easter morning during the height of the Iraq War, what do you think the media's response would be?
They feel like he is unhinged. And I'm getting ready to bring up this second video.
I'll have more updates for you soon. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come. The media needs to stop saying-washing Donald Trump. And here's Exhibit A. This is what the media got from Donald Trump's unhinged Easter morning post to Iran. Trump promises strikes on Iran's power plants and bridges on Tuesday if the Strait of Hormuz isn't reopened. That's the AP press alert. That's what the media got from the president. This is the president's unhinged statement. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll...
This is insane. This is our president. Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking straits, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise to Allah. President Donald Trump. This is insane.
You'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. That's the message that Donald Trump sent. This is what the media is running with. As though it's business as usual, as though what the president said is normal. Why? Another example of the media just saying Trump being Trump. Well, folks, it's not just Trump being Trump. It's unhinged and unacceptable. And reporters need to call it out. I'm going to call it out.
Very unhinged and unacceptable. And before I came on, I told you guys they're trying to pull together. Thousands are calling. They want to invoke the 25th Amendment and have him pulled.
Others need to do it the same. It's honestly why independent media has never been so important, because I don't have anyone telling me what I can or can't say. And I'm okay to call the president unhinged, because if Biden or Obama or Bush or any other president did this, they'd be calling them unhinged. If you want to support independent media, subscribe to my Substack, link in bio, and follow for more.
I just spoke with President Trump for 15 minutes. He gave me some new details on the negotiations behind the scenes with the Iranians and what's going to happen if Iran does not make a good faith deal. The president tells me if they don't make a deal and fast, I'm considering blowing everything up and taking over the oil. The president went on to say you're going.
Now, he went from he's handing it over to I'm taking the oil. This man is all over the damn map. Get ready. Get ready, y'all.
To see bridges and power plants dropping all over their country. Now, I asked him about the possibility of an agreement with the Iranians. He says those who are negotiating on behalf of Iran have been granted amnesty at this time so they can continue the talks. And the president tells me he thinks he'll be able to get a deal by tomorrow. He says, I think there's a good chance tomorrow.
I'm going to show you guys what they're saying. again.
Negotiating now.
This has to be the craziest thing I've ever seen Donald Trump post. Take a look at the way he's talking here and let me know if you think this guy is suitable to be the president. So this is his enlightened Easter Sunday message. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. That's what the President of the United States is posting on Easter, a holiday centered on peace, sacrifice, and forgiveness. His tone in that post feels like the exact opposite of everything Jesus Christ taught and everything that Easter is focused on. Could you imagine what would happen if Barack Obama posted a message?
Hold on. I'm going to bring up my second video, y'all. That's what I'm saying. I see you guys' comment in there. Hold on. Let me go back.
Anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to
bring up my second video on this. This is insane. Like insane. Let's get it. Insane. Hold on. Okay, here it go right here. War update 2.
Congratulations, President Trump. All Israelis rejoice in the incredible rescue of a brave American pilot by America's dauntless warriors. This rescue operation
This is BB thanking him.
Reinforces a sacred principle.
Take it back.
Congratulations, President Trump. All Israelis rejoice in the incredible rescue of a brave American pilot by America's dauntless warriors. This rescue operation reinforces a sacred principle. No one is left behind. This is a shared value demonstrated time and time again in the history of both our countries.
I pledge the allegiance to Israel. This is why we in this mess now. Let's go.
Trump just told Fox News that if Iran doesn't make a deal quickly, he's going to blow everything up and take control of their oil. Check this out.
The president tells me if they don't make a deal and fast, I'm considering blowing everything up and taking over the oil. The president went on to say you're going to see bridges and power plants dropping all over their...
You right about that. There's no other president like him. Let's go.
Country.
That statement confirms what many of us already knew. This is yet another example of a Republican president getting into office and starting...
I agree. You said amendment, 25th Amendment already. Enough is enough. That part, Bert, I'm with you.
Oil war in the Middle East, crippling the economy for absolutely no reason. And the way his rhetoric has been normalized by media outlets like Fox News is truly sickening. Let's just think about what exactly he's threatening here. If he targets civilian power infrastructure, that would plunge Iran's population of more than 90 million people into darkness. These people would lose access to...
Somebody said in the chat, I voted for this guy. He got to go. I can't wait to get to you guys' comments. All right, let's go.
Clean drinking water. Hospitals would lose the electricity they need for life-saving machines and surgeries. Additionally, this would cause food scarcity. Production and distribution networks would likely fail, leading to widespread hunger. And Trump's attacks are, of course, going to lead to retaliatory attacks by the IRGC. They have explicitly said, if you hit electricity, we hit electricity. All of these...
That part. So what they're going to do is target U.S. targets over there. This is crazy, y'all. Please hit the like. Get me to 200 likes. I got 157. Come on, y'all. This is my first late night live. I've never done them. I like it. I like this crowd.
Strikes would cripple the global economy even more so than it already is. Oil prices are over $100 a barrel, but analysts warn a direct attack on Arab and gas export facilities in retaliation could trigger a global recession. And what Trump's threatening to do is likely considered a war crime. He's playing games with all of our lives right now.
We have some news right now. On Easter morning, Donald Trump is threatening more war crimes in Iran, saying that if Iran does not make a deal by Tuesday, he is, quote, blowing up everything. That's what...
Diamond Gang, I tried to prepare y'all for this. I've been talking about this war for weeks. I can't stop talking about it, and I tried to prepare all of you guys. It will come to boots on the ground. I swear I was praying for something different, and I was hoping for something different, but neither side is willing to budge. Let's go.
be told to Axios. It comes as some in MAGA continue to oppose the president and have come out lashing out after his Easter morning post, in which he essentially threatened war crimes again. That unhinged post where he said praise to be Allah and attacked Iran and said that we're going to bomb Iran's civilian power plants. Here's part of what Marjorie Taylor Greene said this morning. On Easter morning, this is what President Trump posted. Everyone in his administration that claims to be a Christian needs to fall on their knees and beg forgiveness from God and stop worshiping the president and intervene in Trump's madness. I know all of you and him, and he has gone insane, and all of you are complicit. More and more folks are saying this online. These posts are becoming more and more.
Listen, before I came over here, I mean, it was crazy. If I could have hurried up and downloaded some of these people's responses and what they were saying and what they're trying to do, I would have, but I had to get over here quickly. So,
radical, more and more unhinged. Spread the word. Subscribe to my Substack, Support Independent Media, link in bio. Follow for more.
Trump won't give us one normal day. Not one. No happy Easter, no uplifting, hopeful message. Just this. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one, in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards. Or
like, y'all, this is crazy. Do me a favor. If you okay with what's going on right now, put a 1 in the chat. Don't spam the chat. We see you. You said MAGA. If you're not okay with this, put a 2 in the chat. This is not okay.
You'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. Nothing about that statement is normal whatsoever. If you think that is normal, I'm sorry, you're up there in the loony bin with him. This is unhinged, crazy shit on Easter morning, and this has to be called out. It's posts like that that make people so hopeful of his eventual demise. That's why so many people were cheering.
They was cheering hard. They thought he was gone. I've never seen nothing like it.
Cheering and hoping that he was a Walter Reed, that he was in serious condition, and he wasn't. He was at the White House. But just the fact that so many people were hoping that just tells you how exhausted we all are by this utter lunatic. And it's not just that. There's people that's
Diamond Gang, more people disagree than agree with what's going on. I see a lot of 2s in the chat. Thank you so much for participating, Diamond Gang.
Still don't believe that the airman was rescued.
If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, please.
They want it confirmed by Iran, by other sources other than our own government. So the mistrust is at a level I've never seen before. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
I think that Donald Trump is looking for a way to end the war without it being an abject failure. And
this right here, and that's what he wants to do. He knows that the people are so against this. I think that he would have been bombed Iran.
And so he is clutching at various straws at this time. We have seen that he did not anticipate a number of developments. He appeared to think that removing the leadership of Iran would cause the regime to collapse. That didn't.
And I told you guys that when you unalive their leaders, there's no stop button. So they're consistently on go. And that makes them even more dangerous. So I don't know what he was thinking with this one.
Happen. He appeared to think that Iran could be bludgeoned into accepting an agreement that it has not accepted on the nuclear issue, and frankly, conditions that it hasn't accepted for 20 years. He didn't anticipate the closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
Bingo. He said he was shocked. He said it out of his own mouth. He was shocked.
And the incredible damage that would do to the international economy, or that Iran would retaliate against the Arab states across the Persian Gulf, as well as against Israel and U.S. forces. So I think he's scrambling. And yes, it's clear that this is going to escalate before it's over. I think
Get ready. Troops on the ground. I've been telling you guys that for weeks.
we're looking at a continuing war, and at some point the economic pain becomes so great that Trump will say, okay, that's it, I won, and move on to something else.
Because here's the deal. Even if we get over there, they open up the straits. We will have to stay over there to make sure that it's flowing and it's safe and we're not coming home anytime soon. We have just began this forever war. This is what we're going to be in, a forever war.
We have some news right now. Iran is calling Trump delusional, rejecting.
Anybody that never heard of regime change usually leads into forever wars.
Any of his claims about
You heard that?
bombing
Iran
and
is calling him delusional. Let's get it.
It's over. I think we're looking at a continuing war, and at some point the economic pain becomes so great that Trump will say, okay, that's it, I won, and move on to something else.
We have some news right now. Iran is calling Trump delusional, rejecting any of his claims about bombing Iran and committing these war crimes, saying that he is in despair and has anger. Comes on Easter morning as Trump, after threatening the war crimes, went to his golf course. Here's what Iranian.
Do y'all see where we at? Do y'all see? Let me get 25 more likes, please, y'all. I need 25 more. Come on, Diamond Gang.
Officials are saying in response to Trump's threat, saying Trump is in despair and anger, repeating delusional claims, saying that the strait is going to remain closed until war damages are compensated. Meanwhile, Trump spent the morning going on Easter morning to his golf club in Virginia while taking a ceremoniously slow tour.
So they basically said if they don't get reparations and help rebuilding, the straits will be closed.
Around Memorial Circle, where he wants to build an arch, and then change the deadline again for strikes on Iran to now Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Make sure y'all subscribe, have y'all notifications on, because I'm going live and I'm going to have all the tea for y'all. All the tea.
Before, the original deadline was Monday, 10:15 a.m. Now, seemingly, we moved it to Tuesday at 8 p.m. One other thing, Trump says that the war is going to be over.
Oh, my God. Thank you. I'm on another screen. Dang it. I wanted to see that little son. Thank you for the gift. What's your name? Richard, Mr. Richard. Thank you. I just hit the like on it. Oh, thank you.
Eventually, he'll have a deal within 24 hours. That's just market manipulation. We shouldn't report it as anything other than that. As always, spread the word. I'll have another update for you soon. Follow for more.
So Trump is now saying he thinks we can reach a deal with Iran by Monday. But if that doesn't happen, he's going to, quote, blow everything up. In an interview.
Diamond Gang, this sounds so unreal. How do you believe that we're going to reach a deal and you're talking about blowing everything up? Don't make sense. And this is why I told you guys, 25th Amendment, let's go.
With Axios, he said the U.S. is in deep negotiations with Iran, going on to say there's a good chance a deal gets reached before Tuesday, but if they don't make a deal, I am blowing everything up over there. But I want to draw your attention to this very powerful story that really puts things into perspective about an Iranian father and his daughter. This guy fired at a Black Hawk helicopter as they were trying to rescue the WSO who was missing in Iran. Here's what he had to say about his daughter. I told the kids not to come outside. After I fired a few shots, I heard her yelling, "Dad, shoot." She was shouting, "Dad, shoot." It didn't come down. Shoot. The host asked his daughter why she did this, and she said, "For the little martyred girls of MENAB, for our dear leader to destroy the enemies, America and Israel." MENAB is, of course, where the U.S. and Israel struck a girls' school, taking the lives of...
Remember that? That was a mess. We tried to blame it on... who did we blame it on? Israel, and it was us.
Over 100 children. Then the host says to the girl, "And why do you think they're the enemy and should be shot at?" She says, "Because they're child unalivers." What would we call it if another country started deliberately striking U.S. cities for no reason, targeting schools, taking the lives of thousands of innocent civilians, and then saying they're going to blow everything up if we don't make a deal with them?
We had the war in Iran, and now this, which is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful coming from our U.S. president. This is the sort of thing, I hate to say it, that you would expect to be introduced in a war crimes tribunal in the future.
David Rode, who was just on with us.
Listen, Trump is going, I'm telling you, go down in history. I might not be alive to see it, but my kids' will be reading about this, and their kids will be reading about this in their history books, y'all. Tim, I need 10 more.
Sent one of our producers his reaction to this tweet. This will offend Iran's hardline jihadist leaders. It doesn't frighten them. Bullying religious extremists who want to become martyrs doesn't work. He says he's witnessed this in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Laura, I know we're supposed to be talking about who the next attorney general is going to be, but this right here from the president of the United States, were it anyone else, we would be talking about the 25th Amendment. People in Congress would be raising hell. And why do I get the feeling that neither one of those things is going to happen?
We have some breaking Iran news. Trump's war crimes threats on Iran are now escalating. He's now.
Y'all hear this? It's escalating. Turn y'all notifications on. I'm going to be live for hours about this tomorrow.
Telling ABC that if a deal is not reached by Tuesday, he's, quote, blowing up the whole country. When asked whether there was anything off the table, he said, quote, very little. It's not hyperbole.
You're outright threatening war crimes. War crimes.
President's own words saying that he's going to blow up all of Iran, essentially. Really, really escalating his rhetoric on Easter Sunday. Comes after this morning's unhinged post where he said he's going to be bombing the power plants and more in the bridges and civilian infrastructure. Well, now he's threatening to blow up the whole country. At the same time, Vice President Kamala Harris posted her Easter message, Happy Resurrection Sunday to all those celebrating. May this Easter remind us of all the promise of renewal, the power of faith, and the enduring hope that carries us through even the most challenging moments.
Diamond Gang, he's crashing out because he can't see a way out of this shit. Not only that, he knows his threats is not working at all. He's all over the place. I mean, he's crashing, having a meltdown, breakdown in front of us.
Wishing you and your loved ones peace, joy, and quality time together. As always, spread the word. I'll have more updates for you soon. Subscribe to my Substack, link in bio to support my work.
Iran has been planning for this for many, many years. Many years. And Trump has been thinking about this for months. Years versus months is a big difference.
You said last week a success for the White House is that the Strait of Hormuz reopens, but that vital passageway, of course, remains effectively choked off. The president this Easter morning used some, shall we say, colorful language.
Now let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to what Trump and them got to say.
To threaten Iran again to reopen the strait. If the U.S. launches its own military operation in the coming days to open the strait, what's it going to take militarily to do that?
Well, let me say, first of all, we do have the ability to open the strait should we choose to do it. And what you're seeing now are what I would call the precursor, the initial steps in such a campaign. You want to reduce Iran's ability to fire short-range rockets and missiles into the.
Listen, you hear what he's saying? But I thought you guys obliterated and decimated. It's just lies.
Straight against warships. You want to take out their fast attack craft. Think of them as cigarette boats, large, powerful, outboard engined boats that can race out and get among ships and cause direct damage that way. What we're doing is we're going after all those vessels. And that's what
we thought they did this already. Hit the like, y'all. I need 9 more. We thought they did this already.
A-10s, attack aircraft, attack helicopters, and other slow-moving, low-altitude platforms are so very effective. So
I showed y'all a couple of days ago. They are still at 50% military-wise. Okay?
in the process of removing those right now. At the same time, we're working to get rid of Iran's mine stockpile. The mines are very dangerous. They had thousands when the war began. I have no doubt we've significantly attrited them now. Of course, it doesn't take many mines to cause a significant blockage to world shipping. So all of that is underway right now. And you want to reduce those to a low level before you put your warships up there to actually sort of test the waters in that strait. I have no
This is their plan. Listen up, y'all. This is what they're planning.
idea what Admiral Cooper's decision-making process is going to be for that, but I think we're well on the way to achieving those goals.
Can the strait be reopened with an air and naval campaign, or are you going to need ground troops?
I think it can be opened with an air and naval campaign. And
He think it can be. Okay, let's see what Hegseth say.
the use of ground troops would probably be along the line of raids. And remember, a raid is an attack with a planned withdrawal where you don't plan to stay. The one exception might be Karg Island. I know the president has talked about it. I think it has a unique place in Iranian culture because, one thing, if you seize it, you're holding Iranian soil. Secondly, it is the critical node through which all their oil supplies pass.
So now they're still talking about seizing Karg Island. If you guys think that this war is close to being over, it's not.
By seizing it, you have the opportunity to cut that off, inflicting grievous damage on the Iranian economy, and yet with the opportunity perhaps to return it as part of a negotiation process. Further, you don't permanently damage the global economy by destroying the infrastructure. So I think Karg Island is a very lucrative target. I'm sure we're looking at it hard right now. I have no idea if we're going to choose to go up there.
Breaking news as Trump is.
I'm going to go over this again, okay? Their military, they have 920 total military personnel when you combine their active duty and their reserve forces. They have 570 active duty, okay? Reserve 350, a total of 920,000 military manpower. I'm just saying, Diamond Gang. How many we got over there? 15,000? 15, 20,000 to their, 920,000? This is going to be a long war.
Completely unhinged this morning. He is threatening war crimes in Iran. He told Fox News that if they don't make a deal fast, that he's considering blowing everything up. He's talking about blowing up bridges, all their power plants, and taking over their oil. And he's also said that they provided weapons to the protesters in Iran through the Kurds, and he believes the Kurds just kept them. Guys,
this dude is talking insane, man. He needs a psych eval.
That is a huge major development. We have not heard until now that Trump and his administration was providing weaponry to protesters. That is a huge, massive story if that indeed happened. And now the question is, how much weaponry was provided and where the hell did it end up? That's our taxpayer dollars that paid for that. And
I hope this story's not true, but I will investigate it and give you guys an update on this story.
did they botch that operation also? Guys, this is truly remarkable. Details are coming out about the rescue operation. I'm going to do another video on that here soon of the F-15 pilot. So guys, wild stuff here today. Trump is losing his mind hour by hour as we speak. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back.
Y'all, this is not good.
Back here for the 411.
I want to start off with getting your reaction to Donald Trump's Easter Sunday expletive-laden tirade that I'm sure you're aware of.
I am aware of it. I actually just shared it with my wife about a half hour ago. And, you know, it's still shocking. It's shocking that this is our president. It is shocking that he said nothing about the service member who is recovered or all of the brave men and women who are involved in recovering that downed airman.
I don't care what nobody say. When they recovered him, that's when he got cocky and just started talking crazy.
It's shocking that he, who calls himself a Christian, has not offered any kind of words of hope or renewal on this most sacred day to Christians around the world. It is something that is such an indication to me that my Republican colleagues have accepted for themselves that there's no bottom. They will continue to support this man regardless of how unhinged and how unfit he is for office. And to know that we have service members.
His own party, they are in fear of him. This is sad.
In harm's way right now in a war of choice. It was not a necessity. This was a choice that our president made, and he can't even spend time this morning thinking about the people right now who need to hear words of comfort. It's disgusting.
Congresswoman, in a little bit of fairness, the president did in a previous social media post talk about the service member who was rescued. However, to your point, on Easter Sunday, this subsequent social media post with an F-bomb in it, and with
Everybody is so outraged, Diamond Gang. Even members of his party is sickened by what he said. Can I please get 4 more likes? 4 more likes, please and thank you.
a lot of people are interpreting as a sarcastic reference, praise be to Allah, is something to behold. I mean, I will speak for myself. I am no longer surprised by what the president does, but I can be shocked.
That right there was so disrespectful. I don't play with religion. I don't play with others' beliefs. I respect it. This man is just, woof.
And this is shocking. And I'm wondering if you expect your Republican colleagues in Congress, in either chamber, to come forward and either condemn what the president has said, or at least say he shouldn't be speaking that way.
No, I don't expect that from them.
They're in fear. I told you guys that 2 weeks ago. They're scared.
I will be shocked if we do hear pushback, because they've shown us time and time again that they are apologists and enablers for this president. And it is so clear to me from sitting with them in judiciary and in the budget committee, they don't stand up to him. They don't have any backbone to be able to say, we actually have norms. We have
Diamond Gang, thank you so much. I am now at 203 likes. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Have these lofty ideals of our country that bind us together. They're not at all interested in that. They just.
We have some news right now. Iran says no ceasefire again. Reject.
Did y'all hear that? They said no. It's inevitable. Gang, I'm not going to get no sleep.
Another ceasefire from the United States and other negotiators. According to the Wall Street Journal, there was a ceasefire on the table, a temporary ceasefire in exchange for reopening the Strait of Hormuz for a temporary period of time. Iran says, no, we're not going to do it. Essentially, Iran has really dug in its heels, kind of says, well, why would we want to do it when right now the United States president is flailing in a lot of ways publicly? And while Donald Trump's threats are only going so far, they're not really resonating among Iranian leadership. Iranian negotiators have no interest in getting to the negotiating table right now, no matter how much Trump is threatening Iran. And Iran is refusing to compromise in its demands and rejecting any proposed Hormuz temporary reopening in exchange for this temporary ceasefire. Now, we don't know what Donald Trump means by totally bombing Iran and putting essentially all targets not being off the table. And he keeps pushing that a deadline for Iran. Days, weeks.
Let me ask the people in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you think he's going to come up with a deadline. Put a 2 if you think tomorrow evening he's going to blow them up. Put a 1 in the chat. Hey, what's up, 3 little birds? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 if you think that he's going to come up with another deadline. This is his, 4th deadline?
The new deadline is Tuesday night. That's probably going to get pushed too. So we'll see what happens. Let me know. Spread the word. Subscribe to my Substack, link in bio to support. Follow for more.
Iran's Revolutionary Guards now claiming responsibility for attacks on petrochemical plants in the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain.
He's not going to break them. They're on a whole different mental playing field when it comes to this.
Warned its attacks against U.S. economic interests will intensify if attacks on civilian targets in Iran are repeated. Does Iran and its proxies retain the capacity to inflict serious damage at this point?
They have the ability to inflict damage. They do not have the ability to gain massive.
Did you hear that? They do have the ability to inflict damage.
Effects. And by mass effects, I mean firing many, many dozens of rockets, missiles, or drones. I think that capability has been eroded steadily since this campaign began. And frankly, at about plus 30 days into this campaign, I think if you're at Central Command, you've got to be reasonably satisfied.
Listen, I just showed y'all a clip last week of Pete Hegseth admitting that he knew what Russia was doing for them. They are helping them with intelligence. They are helping them with drones. They are helping them.
with where you are right now. In fact, Ed, when I was the CENTCOM commander, if you had given me this situation at plus 30 days, I would have rejected it as being too optimistic by far. So we've had good effect. Our effects are going to continue. It's going to be increasingly harder for them to launch missiles and rockets. We may not get to zero for a while, and I think there's still some time ahead, but everyone realizes that. But I think we're on track here. This campaign is moving very effectively, and I believe the pace will pick up every day.
Okay, important PSA this morning, as I'm sure you've already seen Donald Trump's post. Do not normalize this sort of rhetoric and behavior. And I'm mainly talking to you folks in the corporate media. First, let me read for you Donald Trump's posts, and then I want to show you how some of the corporate media have been covering this. Trump wrote earlier, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastard.
Yeah, let's see how the media covered this up. Let's go.
Or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Well, here's how the New York Times covered that objectively psychotic statement. They wrote, Trump escalates threat to hit Iranian power plants after U.S. rescues downed air.
They didn't say he was unhinged. This is what I'm talking about, Diamond Gang. I'm here to bring you guys the truth. That's it. That's all.
Airman. President Trump used an expletive-laden social media post to taunt Iranian leaders, saying that the United States would attack if they did not fully...
Not to taunt. He threatened them.
...reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Then it says, Mr. Trump, seemingly emboldened by the successful U.S. rescue of an American airman in Iran over the weekend, issued a new ultimatum to Iran to end its chokehold over the Strait of Hormuz.
Again, threat, not an ultimatum.
And then they literally edit Trump's statement to remove a lot of what he said. This is how readers of the New York Times are seeing Donald Trump's post this morning. They wrote, quote, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one in Iran.
Not even saying or stating that it's a war crime to do that. This is crazy.
There will be nothing like it, Mr. Trump wrote on social media. Praise be to Allah, Mr. Trump added before signing off in all caps. You kind of missed some important stuff there, which provides a lot of context also behind Trump's statements. And they were not the only major organization to soften or...
Listen, Diamond Gang, I'm going to work overtime to get y'all the truth. I'm not with that.
Sane-wash Donald Trump's remarks. Here's how the Associated Press and its reporter Sungmin Kim reported on this morning. She wrote, Washington AP, Trump promises strikes on Iran's power plants and bridges on Tuesday if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened. So our editor-in-chief said, you left out a few things from that post. So media, stop treating...
They called him on it. Let's go.
Any of this like it is normal. Stop trying to make it palatable for your readers or your viewers. Give it to people straight. And for those watching, don't assume that your friends...
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm not hiding anything. We deserve the truth. And it's just sad that we're being lied to. I'm for the truth.
And family members are getting the accurate information from the corporate media. Share videos like this. Share Donald Trump's posts when he says stuff like this. Make sure that they actually see what's going on. And for more unapologetically pro-democracy reporting that doesn't both sides the news, make sure that you go to the Midas Plus Substack and listen to the Midas Touch podcast.
This is outrageous behavior from this president. And I know that we've said it before on this show and others that if
Diamond Gang, we only got a little bit more. I'm going to wind down and then we'll go to the chat. I'll take a couple comments and then I'll close out. Let's go.
President Biden or President Obama had said anything remotely like this, it would be nonstop coverage on every single channel, and everyone in the other side of the aisle in the House and the Senate would be howling about it and demand.
But remember, Diamond Gang, last week, Pete Hegseth was threatening the media and their jobs.
That they step down. That's the reality. And so, no, they continue to let us down with their lack of courage, with their lack of moral compass. And they're an embarrassment. They're an embarrassment to the country that they represent Americans and yet do not stand up for them.
No longer, he has just threatened Iran in extraordinary graphic terms, giving the Iranian regime just over a day to either make a deal, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or face hell. If your children are watching, be warned, the president did not use polite language. Quote, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day.
And Iran is not fazed at all. They are not fazed. They don't care.
All wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. We should note that destroying civilian power infrastructure is generally considered to constitute a war crime under international law, though the president could argue that the infrastructure has dual use and also is utilized by Iran's military.
That part. Now, if they can claim dual use, then it wouldn't be a war crime. We went over that a couple days ago, too.
Let's get right to
the language is just astonishing. Ending that message with the phrase, praise be to Allah, coming as it does after days in which not only the president, but other top Trump officials have really portrayed this as a Christian nationalist right-wing crusade that the United States is engaged in.
And you know why they pushing that? Because of Hegseth.
That's an open invitation, is it not, for Iranian proxies outside the country, including the sleeper cells that the president himself has conceded are active on American soil and quite possibly on British soil as well.
That part, that can amp them up for them to do any type of terrorist acts to us. Let's go.
To launch their own fresh assaults on targets in the United States and potentially again on targets here in the UK.
Iran's reaction would be...
You ready? Iran ready to retaliate, shrugs off Trump's threats. Let's listen, Diamond Gang.
One of reciprocating any such attack. Our armed forces have made it clear that in case Iran's infrastructure is attacked, we would react in kind. Our armed forces would target any similar infrastructure that is owned or in any
920,000. I'm going to remind you again, total military personnel.
way or manner related to the United States or contributes to their act of aggression against Iran. This is not something that we will do it voluntarily or by willful decision. This is something that is as part of our defense measures against their illegal act. I guess the American people have come to understand that this is not their war. This is a war of choice by the United States administrations, perhaps.
See that? Iran even know, they know how most of us, majority of us feel about this war.
On behalf of a genocidal regime in our region, the fact that they poured into the streets of different states and cities of the United States
they sing the King's March, where there was millions out there marching. Kings, no King's Day.
The fact that they're not supporting this war of aggression by their administration against Iran.
And that's why Trump is so mad, because they see how much we are against what's going on. Trump needs to sit down. He needs to be embarrassed.
All right, so we've got a new deadline where President Trump has threatened Iran that all hell will break loose if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz by Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. But that's not exactly what he said. In a post earlier today, he said, quote, Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. So you can understand why I didn't think that was actually a statement from the President of the United States. It was, and has since been republished on a number of official government accounts. So that's where we stand. He went on to add that the deadline is 8 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. Now, Iran, for their part, has rejected all ceasefires at this point, continuing to say they refused to compromise on their demands, according to the Wall Street Journal, and rejected a proposal to open the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for a ceasefire. The Speaker of Iranian Parliament has doubled down on that, saying a ceasefire is not in the cards. The Strait of Hormuz will not be open until, these are Iran's terms, the United States leaves bases in the Middle East. We pay reparations for all the damage done during the war, and we put in place mechanisms to make sure that the United States and Israel cannot carry out attacks in Iran at some point in the future. So
what do y'all think about that? I mean, Iran has been they're standing 10 toes down on what they said and what they're asking for. And Trump is not budging. They asked for their own toll, which they're not going to get that. They're not going to get their own toll.
As of now, Tuesday night appears to be kind of the deadline, but there's no indications that Iran is planning on opening the strait at all. There's everything from the Iranian side is that they are dug in. They feel they have a strategic advantage by having the keys to the Strait of Hormuz, and that they've kind of worked out a good situation for them collecting tolls of who they want to let pass. So Tuesday night, 8 p.m.
Which let me say this, they're collecting tolls, which I told you guys last week, $2 million to pass. That is illegal. That's a crime that they shouldn't be doing that. So it's not just us. They're doing things too.
Eastern is when President Trump says everything is on the table. In an interview with ABC News, he said there's very little off the table. Quote, it should be wrapped up in days because no sane group of people could stand the punishment that is going to rain down on them if it's not.
Something is severely wrong with Trump today, and the White House is keeping it from us. Trump skipped all 3 scheduled Easter masses today and the Easter egg hunt. Something is going on that is extremely unusual for someone who is pretty active in his age as president, as Trump. So something serious is going on. We know this based on his posting on social media.
They think that he's having a mental crisis right now. They really do.
Today, and what he has been telling reporters. Now, people are speculating that he was in Walter Reed yesterday. That doesn't appear to be the case, but he should be there. That is clear. I don't know if they have a psych evaluation ward there, but he should undergo one because the stuff he's posting today is so unhinged and so...
Let me say this, guys. It won't happen. He has a bunch of yes men. They're not going to speak up. This is tragic.
Insane that if it were any other president like Joe Biden, Obama, anyone, they would have been removed from office already by their cabinet. So something serious is going on, and it might just be the stress of all this. It might be the pressure. And I've seen
Oh yeah, he's under tremendous stress. He has no strategy to get us up out of this.
Enough footage right now out of Iran to know that everything they're telling us that happened last night is not the entire story. So what the hell is going on here, everyone? We demand answers. We demand the truth. I cannot find it believable at this point that no injuries occurred during this operation and that no service members lost their lives based on what I'm seeing. I want answers. You deserve answers. Demand it. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
If you've supported Donald Trump in the past
Now, Diamond Gang, this is it. This is my last clip, and I want to speak directly to the people that is still supporting this man, okay? If you're still supporting Donald Trump, listen to this, please.
whatever reason, his latest Truth Social post is the final free ticket off the train of Trump madness. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you will be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. At this point, it doesn't matter what made you support him in the first place. Whether it was inflation or Hunter Biden's laptop or people with blue hair unjustly calling you a Nazi. If you can read this, a public message from the President of the United States, mind you, and not be disgusted, you are either dishonest, a psychopath, or severely brainwashed. If we just for a second look past the obviously unpresidential language, what we're looking at is a vulgar, direct declaration of intended war crimes. The US military has already killed over 100 children in a double tap missile strike on a girls' school. Apparently, this was based on old and bad intelligence, and it wasn't deliberate. Now Trump is, in the language of a teenager.
In the language of a teenager. Listen up. If you're still supporting this man, listen up.
preparing people for deliberate war crimes with strikes against civilian infrastructure, all whilst giving praise to Allah. You'll never see me supporting the current regime in Iran. From no matter what angle you look at it, the civilian population of Iran are the victims. They are the ones suffering our sanctions. They are getting killed by their own government.
Listen, Diamond Gang, if this wasn't a war of choice, I may feel different, but I know better than that. Okay? There was no proof of anything that Trump said. He's been lying to us since day one.
And by bombs from the West. I cannot believe it needs to be said, but blowing up their power plants and bridges will not change the regime. Bombing civilian infrastructure will not.
Real talk, this is some sick shit that's going on. Sick.
Open the Strait of Hormuz. And it will not in any way weaken the resolve of those fighting against the attackers of their country. You can still hold on to conservative values and push back against what is obviously the statement of a madman. You can still despise Biden.
Our children are at risk. People's husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, like all at the cost of our servicemen. This is insane. He got to be stopped.
And acknowledge the lunacy of this post. What he wrote here is the least Christian thing ever written by any president, ever.
That part.
You need to take away Grandpa's car keys before he starts a world war.
That's next. So get ready, gang. I've been telling you guys for weeks. Hold on, Diamond Gang. That we are in a forever war. This is a lot. So get ready. Yeah, please misspell curse words. Listen, I built this platform for people to be able to speak. You can speak your mind, even if it's an opposing opinion. However, you cannot be disrespectful, please. He's not sending of any of his family members, nor the rest of the people in office with him. That's right. Then if you don't have to be in the gang, you don't have to be in the Diamond Gang. There's millions and billions of people on here. If you feel away, just exit stage left. You don't have to make an announcement. I got over 500 people in this chat. You will not be missed, sir or ma'am. So you can exit if you like. But anyway, Diamond Gang, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. You said, Iran is in a forever war, decades of attacks by the U.S. Yeah. This is not true. Many obviously false statements. Ask Iranians what they think of Trump. I don't suggest getting rid of Trump as you, though you are, okay. Unalivement. Say unalivement. That comment got to go. You got to watch what you put in here. That part. He doesn't have to say, bye. I thought you were leaving. I'm going to do you a favor, JC. I'm going to do you a favor. Go ahead and go. I don't care what you guys say in here. You just can't be disrespectful. I may be passionate in what I believe, but I'm not disrespectful. Don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect nobody in here, or you will be removed. It's just that simple. We are adults. We can agree to disagree, and you're entitled to feel how you want to feel. You just can't be disrespectful to me or my people. That's it. That's all. And you said DJ Trump is the best president. Okay. That's what I want to know. For the people that feels like Trump is the best thing walking, did you enlist? Are you going over to fight? What are you doing to help Trump? This is what I want to know. What are you doing? Trump needs to be dethroned and unburied. It's gone too far. I agree. It has. Iran said no. You're absolutely correct. Love your thoughts. You are all. Thank you. You are 100%. People are so dumb and brainwashed. Keep up the good work. I'm going to try. I really am. I just want, I'm for the truth. Okay? That's it. I can't stand a liar. If you're a liar, you're a thief. And we all know with his record, he's a felon. So he's both. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They talking all of this. Go enlist. Get out there on the front line for your main man. That's what I want to know. Why are you in my chat? You should be in somebody's line. Biden's son never enlisted. I'm not talking about Biden. I'm talking about the people that's down for the movement on what's going on. And you're in that age bracket. Did you enlist? Did you enlist, Frost? That's all I want to know. That part. Be about it. Don't talk about it. Mike! If you lie, you'll steal. Yup. Mother told me. That's it. For real. And if you steal, you will KILL. When will America be free from the Israel government? That part. That's who we working for right now. DJT is the worst con artist, felon, criminal, and PDF ever roaming the earth. My granny always said, if you lie, you'll steal. Yup. And if you steal, that's what I said, KILL. Truth, really. You only go along with the anti-Trump. No, I don't. And I'm not a devil. You just heard me say people was cheering for that man to be going up off this earth. I don't do stuff like that. I don't like him, but I'm not going to cheer somebody's death on. That's ugly. I'm one of the realest people you'll ever come across. That's what I am. You said, hold on, Tag. These comments is going fast. I'm sorry, y'all. They're always bringing up the previous. I know President Trump is president now. He's the one that started this war. What does Biden or Obama have to do with anything? He was the only president dumb enough to do it. He went and ran and fell for Bibi's little trap. And I showed you guys a video on that. He is known to lie and to pull other countries into conflict. So, yeah. He was the only president stupid enough to go for Bibi's BS. They don't want to be free of the fake Israel. How else would they bring the revelations and murk us all in a fiery death? Wow. You said Obama is the most useless president. Come on, man. You got to go. You doing too much. You being way too disrespectful. I know you hear it in my voice. I'm an African American. Do I agree with Black Lives Matter? No, I don't, because I've heard they've been doing some crazy stuff. But come on, I keep telling you guys, don't be disrespectful. Used to be MAGA, but not anymore. I know that's right. All right, Diamond Gang. I'm almost 3 hours in. I got to get up out of here. It is literally 1:30 a.m. Listen, Diamond Gang. You got to go. And you're banned. If I suck, you're banned. This is what I'm saying. These are grown people coming in and trolling. Okay, you said some people have no idea about how to, hold on, to feel, to leave under scrutiny an invasion of mercenaries planted by the West while they steal the people's wealth and leave them hungry. You said the greatest president of my lifetime is Obama. I'm proud to say that I was alive to see it. Mentally, yeah, Trump is, woof. You're welcome. He needs an evaluation. Somebody said, love our President Trump. You see how Brandy just made that comment? And I highlighted it. And it's not what, it's different from my opinion. And I'm okay with it because she was respectful. That's all you got to be, is respectful. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming through. Diamond Girl, please subscribe. Y'all subscribe. I can't see them yo-yo trolls. I'll be on like BBL. Some of them get through and I'm cool with it. If I see a comment, that part, I'm going to pray for him in his mental state of mind. Because it's out there. You said we don't hate over here. We just have common sense. That part. Yes, I've been learning more about BB. John Oliver did a good piece on him. BB is something else. He's a liar. You Christina or whatever. You can't cuss in here. Come on, y'all. All right, let me get up out of here. All right, Diamond Gang, make sure you keep your notifications on. Subscribe to the channel. I want to say shouts out to my subscribers. And if you're new here, shout out to you. Shout out to my beautiful mods. Listen, you ain't got to go home. But guess what? You got to get up out of here. And I'm out. See you guys. I will be live tomorrow to cover what happens. So stay tuned.
It's your under degrees. Sip on me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Great, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Great, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling this tea.